All right, I was doing monthly inventory on the go bags, and I'm not pointing fingers, but when we put the machetes back, can we make sure they're in their sheath first? These are very expensive 511 canvas go bags. I'd like to not fucking rip them open. God forbid we need them. Okay?
I don't know where the sheaths are.
Oh, so you took the sheath off?
Well, yeah, I took them all, and then I threw them in the big dumpster behind the thing.
Well, now we know where they're at.
It was a week ago.
Okay.
A sheep? What?
A sheath. The sheath for the machete.
I think they look cooler without them, dude.
What kind of... Is that the protective thing?
Yeah.
No, we don't. No.
Yeah,
Kron, throw them away. We don't use them.
I already did, dude. What
the fuck were you...
What if I need it at the ready?
No.
I gotta take it out of a thing?
Yeah, you can't hold a machete and have a fucking protective film on. What are you doing?
Dipshit, that's the go bag machete. The store machete is sitting here nicely oiled on the stand, ready to go.
I would never. No, never wrapped for me. I don't wrap anything, okay?
This one isn't wrapped. It's all shiny.
We don't need the sheaths. Just carry your machete, dude. Easy.
Growing up, my parents didn't even wrap my presents for Christmas.
That explains a lot. I think this explains a lot. It's probably why your dad's trying to buy your love now with the CUDA.
I think I have like 3 kids. I did a DNA test thing. Probably shouldn't have did that.
Shouldn't have done that?
I shouldn't have done that. You think they're gonna definitely want some money? Fuck.
Now they're gonna come here and they're gonna come with a camera crew and they're gonna be like, "We're gonna find me your long lost dad," and they're gonna pull in front of the fucking store and then they're gonna pull away. So
and
you
they're
have
gonna
nothing
see
to worry
these
about.
sick machete moves, dude.
When they see you from a distance, you're fine.
No sheath.
No sheave.
Quit swinging that shit around. I think somebody's coming in. Be cool.
Oh shit! I thought I locked the door.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hello, gentlemen.
Don't mind the machete. It's not an act of aggression. We're just...
No, man, I'm cool. I love machetes.
This guy's cool, dude.
Yeah. Hey, so...
Sheathed or unsheathed?
Oh, you got to sheath it.
Okay.
Come on.
This guy's not cool anymore.
You got to sheath it. You sheath it till you need it. That's my motto. That's my family. It's on my family crest.
This guy gets it.
You sheath it till you need it.
This guy gets it.
Listen, guys, I'm in a hurry, okay?
Okay.
So, my wife's out of town for a couple days, and I'm looking for a little...
It's back there.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I'm in quite a hurry, and I don't want to just go looking at that wall. That would be too hard for me. I'll just get too excited, if you know what I mean, and I won't be able to function, and I'll forget why I've come, because I will have come. So I would like to just ask you guys, maybe if you have a couple titles.
This guy's logic is fucking sound. Okay. All right. Let me pull up the system here.
All right.
All right.
I'm focused on the filmography of a very particular director, Don Coxer-Smelly. And do you have any of the Phantasm films?
Was that CKS or XX?
Oh, it's 3 X's, buddy.
3 X's. Okay.
Come on. Whoa. You're not familiar with his work?
You say gag?
I
know them by title back there, man. I don't know. I don't spend time researching.
Gasm, Dan.
Oh. I'm sorry. I thought you guys were professionals in here. I apologize. Maybe I should go.
Puppet professional.
Adult room. We can help you.
Intermediate.
Kind of a machete professional now.
Okay.
So.
Don Coxer-Smelly.
All you know how to do is sniff paint.
And it's Phantasm. I'm looking for any of them. I think there's 5 of them.
I have Booby Hotep. I don't have the other one.
Phantasm.
Right.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen that one. I have that one on my hard drive, my secret hard drive.
How about John Bust at the end?
That one I'm looking for. If you have it, I'll take it.
No. Sad. I don't know why Kron set you up for that.
I know the guy's filmography like this guy does.
Yeah, you're trying to show off, but you also set him up and knocked him down because he's pro-sheath.
No, you know what? No, this guy's cool. I like this guy. He knows. No,
we
he
all
knows.
like each other. It's all in jest.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
I feel pretty comfortable here.
You're jangling a little bit. Are you all right?
Can you take your hands out of your pockets, sir?
I would rather not, to be honest.
Yeah, uncomfortable.
Probably better for all of us if I don't.
I don't like that you came in a big jacket is all buttoned up like that.
It's not for me. It's for you.
So wait, you're telling me that's his real last name?
I don't know that. Does it matter? People have these stage names. Do you think his real name is Steven Spielberg? I don't think so. Come on.
I don't know who that is, but
That's what I'm saying. Who
Never
does?
seen one of his movies.
You know Steven Sploogberg. And that's he's parroting him. Yeah. Okay. Am I looking for something else while I got the computer all heated
Do
up?
you have Phantasm Ravager? That's the most recent one. That's the one I'm really looking for. Ravage Her.
Same director?
it's
Or is this-
Cocktail.
categorized like, boob, butt, other stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm looking it up. I don't have Ravager.
What do you have?
I would have. I think we've got one that's done by a different director. Hard Man.
Oh, David Hardman?
Hard Man. Yeah. I thought it was in the Gasm series. Is it a prequel? Is it a pre-cum?
I'd have to look in my notes. I'm not 100% sure. I got a friend who comes to me in the night and whispers these things in my window. And I have to just sort of quickly jot things down when he's trying to get through them. It's usually when my wife is brushing her teeth. So, a lot of these things are confused. The details, I don't know. So maybe. I'll take that one if you have it.
Okay.
Hey, Kron, you think this guy has got a honk if you're horny sticker on the back of his car?
I don't think he's got anything on under that raincoat, dude. Yeah, he's definitely got weird bumper stickers and shit.
You're giving this guy the benefit that he has a fucking car?
How do you think he got here?
Well, this guy's got a fucking permanent address. How the fuck?
Guys, I am
He's
in
a
a hurry.
boss
So if we could move this along, I
Well,
apologize.
we're not full service, so I can tell you that we have the movie, but I'm not going to go get it for you, because if I go back there, I'm going to get hard too. It's so we're at kind of an impasse here, huh?
Yeah.
I'm holding two machetes, so
If we
I
can
don't
just
have a free hand.
if we can just maintain eye contact for another 10 5
No,
This guy's perfect, dude. This guy's perfect, dude.
no.
Go.
All right, I'm good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Fucking asshole. That's the second time this week.
Yeah, we're getting money
he's
up
been
front
in-
from him next time.
I remember him now.
Yeah, he's got a fucking mustache. Oh, you son of a bitch.
This week on 5-Day Rentals, Phantasm Ravager. Well, hello. Welcome on in. This is 5-Day Rentals, the video store podcast. My name is Bones, and this is the grand finale of the box set, and more specifically, the Phantasm box set. Boys, I'm joined, as always, by Laundry Dan and Kron Howard, my most silver of giant world-ending balls. Dudes, how are you?
Howdy. I'm good.
Hey, you can say that. I feel like I got gold ball energy.
No, dude. No.
There
You're not a
weren't no
buzzsaw
gold.
guy.
Weren't gold balls in this one.
Believe him,
They were big ball, and I said you were big.
I think there's a gold one.
Is there?
Yeah, when they're in like Hell World or whatever.
How can you tell? It's fucking red. Everything's fucking red.
The ball was gold.
Okay, we're already arguing. And this is why we called in the expert. If you're wondering, man, I wonder what prompted the Dirty Dudes to select Phantasm as a box set. Well, it's because my very new good friend, our pot father, in a way. A man who has supported the show. And you hear his genius every week. When you sit through a cold open and then hear that badass fucking theme music. God damn it. From Nerds, Geeks, and the Kitchen Sink and Home is Midnight. New single out now. DK, how are you?
Guys, I'm so hyped about being here. I've been vibrating all day. I had to use a tuning fork to just get right where I needed to be.
Okay. We're happy to have you, dude. It was a long time coming.
I was so glad when you guys said you were going to do Phantasm, and I did feel like maybe it was just for me. You know, it felt that way anyway. Like, to me, like, this is so exciting. I'm so hyped about Phantasm. It's one of my all-time faves, and so I'm so glad you invited me, and I'm very excited to do this.
100%, man. I felt that it was important. The Thunder in Paradise episodes, I had a blast. I will treasure those. They were fun, but they got a little bloated, and it had nothing to do with the guests. So I really wanted to focus on this, and I said, but we got to get DK in for the end, because if this doesn't make sense, we're going to need somebody to explain it to us.
I will try.
Okay.
Well, a lot of it doesn't make sense.
So there's some things that can't be explained.
I'm back.
So you're saying you still have questions?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I really don't. I may be curious about what Coscarelli was thinking in some of these, but like, to jump right into it, the questions that a lot of people have, I don't really care. For me, the Phantasm thing is a vibe and a mood, and when you put it on, you know you're going to see certain things, and the music is going to do a certain thing, and all those things it's like hitting notes that I love every time. So for me, it is not so much at all about the specifics of did Jody die in a car accident or not.
Okay, you asked the question. You should probably answer.
Well, if you want the canonical answer, which is tough, at the end of the first movie, yes, he's dead. He's died in the car accident. But by the time you get to 5, which is what we're talking about today, that answer is still that he's dead, but also that he's not. And we can get into that more as we go, but it depends on which one you just watched, I guess. And how you want to interpret, really, the information that you get from 5.
Yes, because the layers of this thing are not clear. I thought doing plot breakdown for this on my second watch, I got about halfway, and I was feeling really confident. And then when you get to the end, I lose the thread.
Yep.
But Phantasm does seem to be built upon. We're going to start the next movie. We're going to erase what we need to erase to justify what we're going to do. But I will say they never cut into like the core of it for the most part. The did Jody die in a car wreck is our sort of joke reference for what the fuck is going on. But the first movie is so strong in the establishment of what the fuck is going on. I will say I'm a little easier on this franchise as it goes across. I mean, I felt confident in 2. When 2 started, I was like, okay, this was in this. This was a dream, but this is that. Fuck, I didn't even realize that it was his daughter and wife that died.
Blew up making that turkey.
Yeah, like I just thought that was like family. I don't feel like they ever explicitly say wife and daughter.
No.
You get their names, but you don't know the relationship.
Yeah.
And that's even weirder. Why wouldn't you say...
I agree.
Susan and my daughter are making a turkey for you. Why is everyone by first name if they're that close in relationship?
And Reggie doesn't seem that upset about it.
There's a point in this movie where that becomes very obvious.
Yeah. I don't want fucking zombie copies. Give me my buddies.
He's like, it's all about loyalty, but not to your family.
Wait, does he start trying to bone down hitchhikers in part 2?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. He does that in every one.
His wife and child blow up, and then he's instantly like clean slate.
Yeah.
I think fucking the tall man will wipe that.
That's true.
He's just on the hunt.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan. Immediate thoughts, Phantasm 5.
I mean, 5 is 5 stars if we're going to rate this off of a brain and drain on a fucking horse. Because, oh man, that was so great. Oh.
That's one of the weirdest parts of this one. Like
I was
that whole...
They're not going to do... Oh, they're doing it.
Why even have that farmhand character in the movie?
You gotta fulfill that quota of brain and drains.
Yeah. Kron.
Come on now.
And not to mention, that's just not some small time actor. That guy's like an established character actor. Motherfucker's in The Fugitive.
Was he The Fugitive?
No, he was part of Tommy Lee Jones's U.S. Marshal team, man.
Oh.
This guy's doing Phantasm 5? He must be all about the phantasms. I
have questions, man. If he has dementia, Diablo spoilers, you fuckers, but is all of it just him in a hospital making all the last 4 movies up?
I think when you get to 5 splits out into like 3 timelines that are all happening simultaneously. So I think like parts 1 through 4
happened.
I mean, I don't want to say happened because there's a lot of confusion in parts 1 through 4. Like, I don't think everything happened, but I think a lot of that stuff happened. And then you get to 5 and it branches out into like, these are the 3 possible directions.
I fully agree with you. 100%. The 1 through 4 being a unit, and then 5 being maybe almost like a what if. Or it could be, hey, at the end of the events of 1 through 4, Reggie, whatever. Or 1 through 4 were all dreams. It depends on which way you're looking at it, I guess, like from what direction. But maybe 1 through 4 were all inventions of Reggie's, diseased? His ill mind. Diseased mind.
Which I don't think that's a bad thing. I kind of like that they had that in there. I was like, all right, that's a pretty good concept.
That's like the simplest answer for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just this guy slowly losing his mind somewhere.
But having a damn good time.
But he's losing his mind in what we find out is a projection forced upon him while he's locked in there. When he wakes up in Future World and he's rescued, the explanation is given, you've been there for like 10 years. So you've been living these things out. I almost took that as that's the movie's way of saying, hey, by the way, all of the information and timelines in 1 through 4 could have been implemented or skewed a multitude of ways via Mike's perspective, or what was the chick in 2 that just came and went?
Oh, the girl with the powers?
Yeah, with the other ball,
I was going to ask you which one that was from. I was like, what was that one from?
But you were about to say something, DK, sorry.
Well, yeah, that is totally possible as well. You can look at it that way for sure. Or that could just be another extension of what his brain is doing. You can just pick one timeline and say this is the one.
Yeah.
You get all these different options. It's like a buffet.
It's like a choose your own adventure phantasm.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
This is Shutter Island of phantasms.
Well, and again, not to go too deep too soon, but I watched an interview with Coscarelli, and he says something along the lines of, I don't really want to be the horror guy. I'm not really meant to be the horror director. This isn't my plan. I plan to do many other types of things. And yet he is forced time and again to go back to Phantasm. So I think that has got to be taken into account. And like, you know, he never had a plan for the future. It's all a George Lucas, we'll just make it fit.
Yeah. And sadly, I think that when you end the second one with another character being ripped out of a window, you're making it even harder for yourself.
Sure.
Because you've already rewritten the first to fit a narrative. Then you're doing that. Like, I don't know. But I'm somehow way more forgiving of it than I am like a Friday the 13th pickup where we did kill him this time, but he's electrocuted in the next one, and that's what wakes him up, you know?
Well, the thing about Phantasm, too, is like, well, Phantasm as well, I should say, is that each one you watch, each sequel could be the last one. So they're all, to me, in some way, an ending.
Yeah.
It really is as far as you want to go. Like, to me, like, you can't just jump into Star Wars and be like, well, I watched the first two. That's enough. It feels good. You need to know what's going to happen, whatever. There's all these unanswered things, and sure there are with Phantasm, but for me, it just feels different. It feels like each one could be, this is a good ending. Like, I think 3 has an ending that's like, you know, it's up in the air, but 4, by the way, I think 4 is the best ending to the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, 4 is like a pretty decent, you could have, like, they didn't need to make 5. I guess he, you know, decided to come back and do it, but like, the end of 4 would have been a fine enough way to leave the entire series.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always going to end on a cliffhanger. It always does. They all do. That's just how it is. That's just Phantasm. When you wake up from a nightmare, it's not necessarily resolved. You could be in the middle of being chased by Jason Voorhees or whatever, but then you wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say most horror franchises, like, nobody knows the Friday, 12 or whatever was like going to be the last in the series. So it's kind of just like, yeah, we'll leave the possibility. You know, there's always the possibility of bringing any character back and that kind of thing.
Yep.
I think overall I'm forgiving if it's a 1 to 2 situation, but I would like a little bit more responsibility when you say, all right, this thing is awesome and we want to keep going and we need to make a decision at a certain point. You know, write it or build it in a way where, hey, if it's successful and we can keep going, we're going to go. Or let's agree to just do 2 more. You know, we were ripping on not ripping on it, but we were referencing the Matrix before we started the ep. And they at least had that foresight to say, like, all right, if we're going to do another one, we're going to do 2, and we're going to try to tie it up as best we can.
Oh, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's a normal expectation to have for a film franchise.
Yeah. And then I think this movie is 2016.
Isn't that crazy?
This is fucking wild. So
it's not even 10 years old.
Massive gaps. So
yeah, well, when was 4?
98.
96 or 8. One of those two, yeah.
So long between.
And how Reggie still fucking looks good, man. Poor Mike, but Reggie looks good.
Reg is finally starting to show his age in this movie. Like, I feel like 1 through 4, dude looks pretty much the exact same.
Totally. It's that ice cream, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket Pops, stuff. Baby. All right. Any other general thoughts? What I'd like to do is kind of grind through this in a positive way, not kick through it in a negative way, but get through so we can have some more overall franchise discussion towards the end. So, but before we do that, DK, we've referenced Nerds, Geeks in the Kitchen Sink, Home is Midnight. Anything else you'd like to kick out and promote?
Those are the 2. Home is Midnight. Check it out. Home is Midnight at Bandcamp, or just on Spotify, or wherever you listen to music. We got a couple tracks out there. We hope to have a full-length record by the end of the year. That's our dream. I don't know if it's going to happen for sure. We will at least have some kind of release in the next coming months. So check that out. It's like electronic, female vocals, kind of like retro synthy thing. Yeah, maybe you like it, maybe you won't. It's okay.
It's a vibe, man.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Like Phantasm.
Dude's got the Riz.
What does that mean?
No idea.
Charisma.
I got a Warlock right now. I'm rocking 18 Charisma. My Eldritch Blast
God damn.
gets a Charisma modifier.
Stop.
What does that mean?
What?
No, don't.
Your guy
no,
can
stop asking
charm a
questions.
rogue orc that shows up.
Yes.
If he needs
right.
to, but he's not. This is a battle.
DK,
Warlock,
are you playing
dude.
the same game?
I'm not playing it. No, I'm not playing it.
Are you playing?
He's Helldivers too.
Well,
That
I would like
looks
to be.
fucking cool, dude.
I would
I've
like to
been
be,
seeing
but I
some
can't
shit
get into
on-
the goddamn server. They keep saying you can't get in. I bought okay, real quick. I'm a huge Helldivers fan. I loved the first one. I was one of those weirdos that really enjoyed it. I had a squad. We were great. I love the second one too, but you can't get in right now. So I'm just kind of like waiting around until I can play it.
It looks cool. I've been seeing a lot of Instagram
Super fun.
reels.
Really having a good time with it when I can play it.
Do you think that they are limiting the entrance for like viral marketing to like make it even more exclusive?
No, I don't think so. They've
Like
been pretty
a
upfront about what the real problem is.
Oh, okay.
And it's truly that they just did not expect this many people to buy the game.
We fucked up. We made it too good.
Yep, they made the game too good.
They don't have enough people at the switchboard putting the wires into place to
100%.
get you on the line.
Yep.
They need to hire more of those John Wick telemarketer ladies.
That's why we don't put 100% into this show, you know.
Yeah, we end every show clearly and concisely because it's probably going to be our last.
Just like Phantasm.
The Coscarelli method.
Phantasm 5, Ravager from 2016. We're in the desert, and that beautiful score kicks in, and the ice cream man himself is hiking across the road. Sure could use a rocket pop right about now. Now he is back through the portal that he went through in part 4 at the end there, chasing the tall man. He walks on, and we get a refresher in classic horror franchise style via flashback and narration. All right. For you psychos that are starting with part 5 here, basic clarification is just basically for the tall man in this sense. All right. He's a scientist who figured out how to travel to another world. He came back changed, and he's got a whole army of silver spheres. And this tall man has taken his family and his best friends. Everyone else is gone, and it is just Reggie now. Reggie lets us know that some fuckwad jacked his CUDA that was hidden in the desert at the end of part 4. So now he's just wandering and salvaging. He finds a fucked up structure, scavenges a canvas bag, continues down the road. Now he's choosing to walk in the middle of the road.
Good strategy. You can hitch
Worked
from
out for him.
both directions, dude.
Nobody.
He wasn't showing any leg, though.
Savage Land.
Real quick, can I back up already? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you know the game.
I think it's key. I think it's very important that we go back to that voiceover very quickly. This is exactly what Reggie says. He has the power to channel time, dimensions, even dreams. So I think that is something that should be taken into account. Certain things that maybe don't make as much sense, like in previous movies, like what was the Civil War thing all about? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was just a dream. That channeling dreams thing, I think for me, is key in sort of like helping make sense of the whole thing. So I just wanted to point that out.
Very glad that you did, because upon second watch, I realized, or my interpretation was, later on in the movie when Reggie is sleeping and a ball comes in, it doesn't kill him. It just sort of like hovers, and then we cut to a dream. And my interpretation was, oh, this thing is fucking inceptioning him right now.
Yep.
So
I think so too.
I mean, I guess it seems like a convenient way to explain all the like plot holes too, though. It's just like,
yeah, it's a cop.
anything can do anything because it can invade every part of your psyche, essentially.
But at least they tried, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, though.
All right. Reggie's walking down the middle of the road. A car pulls up behind him, and instead of just, moving over a few inches and passing this guy, driver slows down, starts honking, calling Reggie an asshole. Reggie starts talking to the guy and barters for a $50 hitchhike here. He gets in the car. This guy's like, I want my fucking money.
Well, and the car is the CUDA.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
I guess I could have said he showed up in what is obviously a CUDA. But this is like the dorkiest asshole I've seen in a really long time. Like,
when I saw him, I thought, I really hope we get to see him basically nude.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that happens.
So Reggie's in the car. They go back and forth about, the money up front. And Reggie starts saying, this is a nice CUDA. I had one just like it. I remember having a 9mm in the console. And the driver fucking instantly goes for the console, trying to see if it's in there. And Reggie's like, nope, actually it's in the glove box. He opens it up, pulls the gun on the guy, forces him out of the car, forces him to strip. This guy's like more embarrassed by like his body than I guess his balls. Because he's got tighty whities on, but he's like covering up like a chick in like a Beach Babe or like ski resort movie that got her top ripped off.
I mean, he's pretty pale out there in the desert. He's probably just trying to cover as much skin as possible.
Fair enough. Yeah. Standing on that blacktop.
It's a race against time against Mr. Sun.
Yeah. So Reggie takes this guy's clothes and he gets his fucking CUDA back. Now, what I did not mention when Reggie was scavenging at that fucked up building, we also got a little glimpse of possibly a something fucking with a body. Because as Reggie pulls off, 2 silver balls come flying down the road, and they are pursuing Reggie. The car thief gets leveled by one of these. Right off. Are you happy, Dan?
About this guy getting...
Yeah, you're getting your violence pretty quick. Is this quenching your bloodlust?
This guy looks 2016. Is this supposed to take place in 2016? Is this now?
Well, 2016 isn't now.
Do you mean now is 2016?
There is some math online
on this fucking show.
There is some math online that gives you the year because they say
98.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So apparently it's 98.
Okay.
Even though that's when 4 came out.
But 4 doesn't go. 4 is like a lot closer to 1, though. Canonically, I think
4 is 1. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like 4 is a lot closer to the first one.
Yeah.
Like in the timeline.
Well, yeah, and in this, Reggie we don't know how long he's been in the portal and when he's come back, right? It's Mike telling him later that you've been locked up for 10 years.
And we can't even trust any of that. We don't know.
Yeah. And I think I saw something where even this even gets the original wrong. They say 79 and it should have been 78.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, and just to go back to your point, Bones, I mean, I do think getting some action up front is good, but at some point we should talk about this one has the worst graphics of all the Phantasm movies by a long shot.
I agree.
I want to be really forgiving on the balls in this. I don't think they're that bad. I think there is a threshold that I've identified in the plot breakdown. But
I mean, I guess for 2016, though, I feel like I played PS2 games that had better rendered graphics than some of this movie.
And I'm glad you've came a long way because you've seen my balls back in like 2008 and you gave me a 2.5
mm-hmm.
out of a 10.
Well, you're going to have to wait for a Rate My Letterboxd and then we'll have this discussion.
I shaved. How hard that was? Your testicles are constantly moving. I don't know if you know this.
Dude, you should go to a doctor.
You're not shaving the testicle. You're shaving the scrotum. And the scrotum is malleable and should bend to your will if you need to straighten it to shave it.
I told you my hair grows from my actual testicles out of my sack.
Well, then if you want them smooth, why don't you just hold the skin and push the balls back up and it'll pull the hair.
It's like every time you shave, it just gets thicker and thicker.
Well, then I guess the hair will still keep growing and then your ball sack will expand. And you'll get like an ingrown ball hair.
And that's what led to a 2.5.
Yeah. Your balls are fucked up, dude. Like I gotta stand by the 2.5 that he gave you.
Yeah, we've never had a redo.
Reggie is speeding away from the poorly CGI'd second ball. He turns around real quick. He ends up running over the car thief before speeding ahead.
I like that. I like that he runs him over.
Ice cold.
It's a good touch.
Why not?
The ice cream man, baby.
Pulls a slick move here where he stops the car well ahead of the ball, gives himself enough time to step out of the car and take pretty precise aim. And we cut to Reggie in a wheelchair. He's outside some care facility, and he's being pushed by Mike.
Whoa, what?
Pretty cool transition from the wheel to the wheel.
Yep. Mike pushes him to a park bench. He locks the chair and takes a seat. Reggie asks, "What the hell is going on? Where am I? What is this?" And Mike just starts going on about how Reggie took care of him after Jody died of natural causes, I guess. I think that's how he died.
I think in a car wreck.
I think it's the car wreck.
Jody died in a car wreck?
Yes.
Yes, dude.
Not.
Okay.
When you guys seen the CUDA roll up, you were like, they're not. Like, really?
What, at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they are.
That's cool.
You're like,
It's
okay,
Phantasm.
there's the CUDA, badass. And you're like, wait a minute.
How do you make it even more badass?
They're not going to have.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Wait. We'll get to it. Mike says that Reggie was found wandering in the desert like Moses, and he hates to break it to him, but man, the doctors tell him he's been diagnosed with early onset dementia. And Reggie refuses to believe this, and he just blames it on one of the fucking tall man's tricks. And Mike, in order to try to keep Reggie's mind active, indulges in this story. And he says, "All right, tell me the story again." Now, this is where we start I think I've got 25 cut backs and cut twos here. So by all means, bear with me. Interject if I miss something. We cut back to Reggie cruising in the CUDA. American Muscles. God, I'm feeling good, man.
If one of us got this, would we still if Kron got dementia, would we still let him do this show?
Yeah, it'd be funny as hell.
I think so too. That would be hilarious.
The bummer would be when he asked, "Did Jody die in a car wreck?" We don't know if he's joking or not. Like,
yeah, but
it'd be kind of sad at a certain
I'm asking
point.
It in our face-off episode.
Why'd they film it in black and white?
Oh shit, that sounds like me now, dude.
You
guys know something you're not telling me?
Reggie's he's saying that he's tracking Mike. He's sticking to small towns, which is the Phantasm way, sticking to back roads. And what do you know? He comes across a female stranded on the side of the road, having some car trouble.
I thought
Classic Reggie.
I thought the tall man was coming back for one last go at him.
Reggie stops. The lady runs up to the car. She realizes that it's not the person that she thought it was. She's relatively polite, like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were somebody else." Reggie says, "I can't really fix whatever your problem is," even though we're to understand that he rebuilt a CUDA. I feel like he'd have some
Yeah, it seems like he's built that car 12 times over at this point. So
I think he just wants to get her in the car as soon as possible. This is his game plan. So he offers her a ride. Cute little interaction. She's like, I normally don't get into cars with people I don't know. He introduces himself. She introduces herself as Dawn. Reggie takes Dawn up to her house.
Hang on. Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I don't know if this is intended, but when she thinks she recognizes him, and then later when he recognizes her in that other universe.
Shit.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah. Like she got some fucked up dream or
something. I'm putting my hands together, interlocking my fingers.
Fuck, I like
All
that.
I'm saying is think about it.
I like that. God damn it. Okay. I wonder if I would have rated everything like 0.5 higher if DK was here making sense of it. Can you explain Wild at Heart to me? Should that be a point higher?
Listen, I'm a Lynch man. I do love Lynch, but I fully understand why you guys scored things the way you did.
Okay.
Truly. I could try, but if like you don't love Lynch, or if you didn't love that movie, I mean, like why would I try? If it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you.
Yeah.
I really think Blue Velvet is his best way in. I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. I like Mulholland Drive. But I'm not a person who is trying to tell you that Lynch is like, our Lord and Savior or whatever. I love the man. I do.
Yeah.
He's incredible. And I think he's a genius. But no, you guys did everything correctly.
I think it's just like any other super stylized director. Like you either tap into it or you don't. So
Yep. I fully agree. I would love to see a David Lynch Phantasm, and that is no shit. Imagine.
I think it could be, it'd be interesting if you took
It
a
almost
swing
makes
at it.
sense. Yeah. All that weird, the droning sounds and people staring off into the distance and strange rooms and the balls for no reason. And that would be incredible.
I don't know. I think Denny would do it better.
Okay.
I'm just fucking with you. I was going to joke. I was like, no, they would give it to somebody like J.J. Abrams, right? He's a huge fan of the first one, right?
He's
the guy,
responsible for the restoration of the first one.
He took the wrong lesson away from Phantasm, I think.
Is this a good time for me to say that I fully support Phantasm remake? I fully support. I want more Phantasm. And I think you can so interpret it the way you want to interpret it.
Yeah.
And I think somebody like Robert Mitchell, who did It Follows and Under the Silver Lake, would be fucking perfect to do. Or even like, I don't know. There are some more mainstream people, but like,
yeah,
I really think give it to one of these guys that is not afraid to go fucking crazy. I would love to see give it to a different director and remake it every 3 years. Just let me see, and it would be so awesome. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
I think about like Cloverfield, how they did 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's like, why isn't there different stuff going on in this world?
Like an anthology sort
that
of
would work too.
piece, yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely do like something in the Phantasm world that isn't this direct story.
That's what I was going to suggest. Call it Phantasm, but say, and Halloween does this to whatever, but maybe it's not a requel, it's not a remake, it is a parallel thing. There is
Why
another.
Why can't the tall man just be somewhere else doing something else?
Yeah.
It seems like
Get Michael Shannon in there as the tall man.
I've said this for years at this point. Michael Shannon should play the tall man. He should.
Yeah.
Who can deny it? No one.
I can't.
I'm not.
Shit.
No one can deny it. Michael Shannon is the tall man.
Pay the man.
If it can't be Michael Shannon, I want it to be Maya Rudolph.
Jordan.
Because she's so charming. She'd say everything all funny like, boy, boy.
I was going to say Daniel Day-Lewis, but yeah, I'm with Maya Rudolph now.
Oh, fuck. Ari Aster's Phantasm with Daniel Day-Lewis. People would die.
I think Ari Aster would make an interesting Phantasm, though. 100%. Just make it a fucking... Let it be one of those... what's that label called? Holy shit.
A24?
A24. I had a couple red drinks earlier, so I'm sorry.
All right, so Reggie arrives at Dawn's house.
Your throw up's going to taste so good, though.
I can't throw up. I physically can't throw up.
When it leaches out of your skin, it's going to
No, I'll
so
just
good.
Dry heave for 20 minutes and then just feel terrible the rest of the night. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. Dawn's house looks like a standard ranch in a Skinamax movie or someplace that you, dude. Like an Airbnb that you would rent with your buddies.
Did you listen to the commentary?
I did not on this one.
Okay. Are you talking about the outside or the inside?
Just in like the outside, like the road that they pull up, the way that they park, it reminds me of so many Skinamax like couples
Poison Ivy
event movies or places that me and my buddies have rented to go get fucked up for a weekend.
Well, the reason I ask is because apparently the interiors of there is Reggie's real home.
Okay.
Which, well, we'll get there. We'll go on. I'm sorry.
Hey, dude's really living it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it keeps with the aesthetic of the other Phantasms, honestly.
100%. This is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That living room, and they have the fire, and I don't know if you noticed the blanket. Of course, who would notice this? Only an insane person. The blanket that he has is the blanket from Phantasm 1.
That was in my research.
It feels, and I will say, I first of all, I didn't chime in when you guys were talking about it, but yes, the visual effects are the worst part of this movie, and they're very difficult. They're very difficult to deal with, and I agree with you. But some of these scenes, Reggie with the guitar in front of a fire in a cozy living room, that's Phantasm, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, when he walks up and that music hits and it's just kind of that shot of him like from underneath, you're like, all right, we're back.
Some of this, really, yes. Some of this is like perfect Phantasm. Unfortunately, though, the parts that aren't really aren't.
Yeah, I will say it's easy to sit here and knock it for the digital filmmaking aspect of it. But even within that, I think there's some decent framing.
Sure.
There's still pretty good blocking for what they've got.
Some great shots.
Yeah.
And you know what? They managed to make some of the car action look all right. Like it's not eye-rollingly bad.
No.
It's, just some of those visual effects don't cut it. Not even close.
Well, I think despite my qualms with the visuals, I think what they're doing with the storyline is interesting enough that it kind of, like, you can look past and you, I don't know, in the back of your head, you're like, oh, this is part 5. It's, 13 years plus after part 4, like, probably couldn't get that much budget together. So they're just, I think like the vision for 5 was probably bigger than the money would allow it to be. So
100%.
But I do like what they're doing story-wise. It's just kind of, they got to cut corners somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and we haven't really talked about the fact that Don Coscarelli did not direct this movie.
Yeah, but he did everything else.
He's there. He's there helping out. He did not direct this movie.
It doesn't make sense to me that it didn't get money. Every Phantasm made money. Like, why wouldn't the studio be like, they all made money, let's put a decent amount of money in here?
Well,
after 13 years, though,
that's true. But also, and you know what? It's so sad because I feel like if they could have waited till like now, they could have gotten the money. Like, don't you agree? I think we're at a place now in horror when if you go, okay, we're going to revive this old thing. Blumhouse or somebody is going to give you something. You're going to get something to bring back one of these old franchises because it's a guaranteed return. You know.
Yeah, you go fund me, and
that's what I was going to say. Like a decent Kickstarter. This seems like a franchise that would have enough people to get some traction. I mean, a fraction of what it cost to make Megan, you could make this thing look infinitely better. Yeah.
And I don't know that much about the inception of this movie, but I know that it was really this other guy, and I can't believe I don't remember his name. The guy that did direct the movie. Does anyone have that?
David Hartman?
The Hartman, that's it. He was like a massive Phantasm fan for a long, long time. He wrote at least one or two other Phantasm scripts, even like 20 years before, and was just like he was like a Phantasm super fan who eventually, his dream was to like work with Don Coscarelli, and he eventually gets there. And so this is Coscarelli going, well, you're a big Phantasm guy. Like, why don't we, in the commentary, they make it sound like they were just like doing some camera tests. They never even intended to make a movie, is what it sounds like. They're just fucking around with some cameras and going, well, let's get Reggie to come up. We'll film him walking around in his little outfit and see what happens. You know, I don't know how much of that, you know, really, but it's interesting.
I kind of believe it. I think the initial parts of him walking around in the desert do visually feel different than the rest of the movie. And then once you get to where you're really VFX heavy, you are really stretching, I feel like. So it's a massive miracle that you were able to get it done before Angus died, that you got any of him on film.
Yep.
I mean, Jody kind of seems like he's like, oh, this is cute. Mike at times doesn't feel like he wants to be there.
I didn't get that at all. I really didn't.
No?
No, I really didn't feel that with Mike. That hurts me when you say that.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
Of course he would want to be there.
I didn't get that. I really didn't.
Okay.
Not that you're wrong.
I mean,
I'm blinded by my love of
I'm going to defer to you. All right. Reggie asks about the place. Do you live here alone? Don says, no. When my parents died, the former farmhand, Demeter, he stayed on. So Reggie's like, okay. Do I gotta, like, what, you know, what's she, is this a casual hookup thing?
Yeah,
like, do I
what's
still,
going on with these two?
like, all right.
Reggie has a very Skinamax setup. This lady living on a ranch with her farmhand.
Mm-hmm. He's got, he's got strong hands too.
Oh, you know why they call him Demeter?
Please tell me.
Because his dick is 100 centimeters.
Wow. Was that in the commentary?
I wish.
God damn. Throwing rocks, DK. All right, Reggie makes himself at home. He's noodling on the guitar.
Dick joke.
Right at home, baby. All right, Reggie, of course, has already told Dawn the entirety of the Phantasm saga, and she's taking it quite well. You know, she's like, this is a little tough to believe, but please continue.
You should have said 100-meter Peter, though.
Listen, okay.
100 meters is insane, dude.
100 centimeters, first of all. That's a meter.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the other day on Nerds Geeks, I wanted to say the word balls, but I was like scared to say it. But with you guys, cocks. I'm saying the word cocks.
Mm-hmm.
Dicks.
You come here every few months, you get it out of your system, and then you go over there and you run a tight ship.
Yeah, we're a safe space for people to come roll around in the shit, you know?
Yeah,
I so appreciate
cocks.
that. You say what we're all too afraid to say. The things we're all thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, 1 meter is roughly about 40 inches.
And I said 100?
Yeah, you said 100.
I don't even know if that's...
Guy want to be able to get off the ground, dude.
It's like one of those like longest fingernails. It's curled up.
Oh, you think it curls around?
You gotta curl it up.
Yeah, you have
What
to.
are you gonna do with it? Wrap it around like
Pole
a belt?
vault.
It's never getting hard. It's never getting hard.
You don't have that much blood in your body.
Nah.
You got to pump blood in from other sources.
I mean, get one of those balloon animal pumps. Blow some air up your ass. Turn that bad boy into a giraffe.
I'm certain that would work.
Mm-hmm.
That joke was for our UK fans, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks for the downloads. Japan. Thank you.
Arigato.
Hell yeah.
I hope our first tour is over there. I hope we're huge in Japan, dude.
Oh, dude,
so
I am
sick.
I'm fucking massive in Japan. I'm 3 times those people.
Mm-hmm.
Just towering over them.
Yeah,
I'd love to go to Japan. I honestly would.
If it wasn't for like the 24-hour long flight, I think I'd do it. But
because my understanding is they're like very nice, but they don't interact with each other. Everybody like looks down on the subways and shit. Keep to themselves.
They're polite.
That in Norway.
Imagine that, a polite society.
yeah, they're good people.
Don't get me started on that shit.
No one's openly shitting in the subway.
They're doing it, but not openly.
Or shooting.
Are we teaching stay to the right in schools? What happened to like when you walk down a hall, you stay on the right? Like deferring to the right. Like it's fucking killing me, man.
I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I'm not sure if she's ever awake. Like the decisions she makes, I don't understand. We can't talk about this now. But yes, you're totally right. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, that happens to me at work, like with adults.
Yeah.
Like, and then get the fuck out of my way.
You get close, and it's like, you're the one who should move, not me.
I do this. I don't give a fuck.
I've straight up said to like the owner of my company that if you just keep coming out of the break room right into the hallway, like this is a stop sign. Imagine a stop sign here. I don't yield to you. I was like, if I'm coming down this hallway and I knock you over, and there's going to be 2 people potentially listening to this, and they totally are going to back me. Like I have yelled at people, like, stop it. People are coming out with hot coffees.
Stay in the fucking two-faced situation.
No.
People got erections in this hallway, dude.
Yeah, I got to get to the break room. I got to. Do you know what my Instagram algorithm just threw at me?
A 40-year-old in a candy bikini?
Yeah, I was horny enough to turn up the brightness. Can't blame me. All right, so Reggie fills Dawn in about the Mike, the tall man, and his balls. Reggie then tells Dawn that, or he starts kind of hinting at her, hey, I was thinking it gets kind of, and she's like, hey, fucking stop. No. And he's like, no. Hey, it's for once in one of these movies, I'm not instantly trying to go to bed with you. I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to write you a song. And she's like,
he's still kind of trying though.
Yeah, he pivots to song after she shoots him down.
100%.
Yeah, I know. I'm just I'm just explaining the narrative aspect of it. I totally agree with you that was it, and I'm hoping that's the reason because the song is pretty atrocious. But if I'm Dawn, I'm going, well, I'm going to go to bed. I don't want you fucking making racket down here. Go to the barn with Demeter if you're going to noodle. In the warmth of your mountain cabin.
If you can find enough room in the barn beside his giant cock. 100 meters long, dude.
You roll that thing up. Use it as a pillow.
Dude,
one of those fancy pillows where you can put your arm through it. In the warmth of your mountain cabin, in the glow of a newborn song, I put your loving arms around you, baby, and I whisper your name. And he can't fucking remember her name.
You didn't like the song?
That was all right. I think the guitar noodle link doesn't quite match up, but
it immediately put me in mind of the scene from the first movie where they're, playing that song on the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it feels like Phantasm. We're hot as love, you know.
I don't know if I could do it.
I sincerely hope you've prepared something. And I'm about to have my mind blown.
What?
What?
Oh, God.
Can't believe you found this on alltabs.com.
What, that I pulled the... Is that coming through?
Maybe if you finger pick it, it might.
Yeah, get that a little lower, baby.
That's
I'm
a
not
rough
getting any
E.
guitar.
No
Okay.
guitar.
It's probably... Oh, I see my fucking audio track blasting right now, so...
Well, you could just do it, and then I'll hear it when the episode comes out.
No, that's okay. The joke was going to be, I was going to just play like some shitty chords, and my first lyric was going to be, I fucked a tall man, and then I was going to stop. That would have been the song.
All right.
That was an awesome song.
I thought you were going to do like the nickel. It sounded like you were going for the Nickelback. I like your pants around your feet.
Oh.
Is that song about fucking the tall man?
It could be.
I like your pants around your feet.
Yeah, but it's written from the tall man's perspective.
Oh, hell yes.
It's a bummer that's not coming through because
We can't hear that at all.
My guitar playing is immaculate. That was certainly wasn't. There was no twitching from my fingernail at all.
I'm going to examine the lyrics of that Nickelback song, and I'm probably going to find that it really is from the tall man's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you had said Creed, I'd have been like, yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay, what Creed song is about fucking the tall man? Or
With arms wide open? Well, that
you
would be
take me
fucking
higher?
Demeter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to use
Take
your
me
whole
higher.
spread.
Take me higher.
me when you put a spear in my head. That's later, Creed. Probably.
Yeah, it's Weather.
Bros
It's the
probably
first
don't
track
know
off
that one.
Weather. It's called Bullets.
Dan, you're going to that concert, aren't you?
No, I'm not, because I went into the pre-sale and I was like, fuck you for these prices. This is ridiculous.
Wait, what is Creed charging in 2024?
Back not covered seat at Hollywood, $135 a seat.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself,
They
Creed.
are riding the novelty of their
Oh, yeah.
No. return. Yep.
That is insane.
All right. Dawn is upstairs, and you know what? She's lonely too. She's looking at that open space next to her on that queen bed. She changes her mind. She heads downstairs. Fucking Reggie's knocked out. He must have knocked one out secretly because he's sleeping like a baby.
Any married couple would look over at that and be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, oh, bed to myself.
Yeah, I would have 2 dogs up there.
You guys sleep okay with your ladies gone?
No, not
is
at
it
all. I
weird
miss
sleep?
I'm an incredible sleeper. I'm good at it.
I can sleep okay anywhere, dude.
Yep.
If I get tired, if it gets late enough in the night, I just fucking tip right over and go to sleep.
I don't need a bed. I don't need a chair. I don't need a special outfit. I'm good. Wherever, whenever.
Yeah, my wife always like, it's just weird when you're not there. I'm like, I do all right.
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah.
because it's so awesome having all
Who's
this
gonna-
bed to myself.
Who's going to fart in the bed?
She's probably
You know?
cold because I'm not farting.
Is it a Dutch oven if you
Probably
do
what
it to
it is.
yourself?
It's an American oven in my house.
All right. We cut outside, and who do we see lurking in the woods? It's our motherfucking tall man. And he sends a silver ball in for some recon, but instead of attacking, it sends Reggie a nightmare. We cut to that nightmare. Reggie wakes up in an 1860s-ish hospital. And in the bed next to him, it's the fucking tall man. And the tall man starts playing coy at first. He's like, my name's Jebediah. And he's trying to act nice at first, but the facade quickly fades. You'll never be safe. I'm always watching you. And then the camera kind of pans down below the bed. And is that the lavender lady?
I fucking love that.
And not only that, the lavender lady and the tall man's hands are like morphed together. It's a pretty cool shot.
That's cool as hell.
What the hell is going on?
Yep.
Reggie wakes up. It's early, like the crack of dawn. That's right.
That's good writing.
He gets up, he looks out the window, he sees the farmhand working, and then he just starts screaming up to Dawn. Hey, what do you think about me hanging around for a few days? Dawn? Dawn? He fucking heads upstairs. Fuck, man. Dawn's been brain and drained. Reggie gets to the trunk of the Cuda. He loads up with what looks like brand new fucking hardware, man. Guns, machetes, a hatchet, grenades, all this shit. Pristine and oiled.
Yeah, the machete he does throw into his bag loosely.
Loose. I have that same note.
Bag.
Loose. I use the same word. Loose.
It would just cut a big fucking hole instantly.
Straight through. It'd be dragging on the ground immediately.
I mean, I got to give it up to 5DR. We've been on a roll with fucking weapons and trunks. Like, nice.
God, I hope I don't get pulled over.
Is it just me, or is that everything you ever needed to see? Like, that's so fucking cool. Reggie just like loading up guns and like putting shit in a bag.
My thought was, how come this guy who stole the fucking car didn't know that shit was in there?
I think he had just stolen the car.
You don't look what's in the car after you steal it?
Also, Dan, some of us are actively living that lifestyle. So
You still catalytic converters. Catalytic?
Have you looked at every inch of your home? I don't think I have. Like, there are parts of my house that I don't know if I like really, there's parts of your house that you don't always go to or like look at. Like part of the attic, like I guarantee there's places in the attic I've never stood. There's angles I've not experienced. Okay? You don't know every inch. You think you do, but you don't. You think you know, but you have no idea. MTV Cribs.
That wasn't Cribs. It was like the documentary show.
This is MTV Cribs. I think you're wrong.
How often are you in your attic?
Wasn't it like a day in the life? I don't know.
A lot more than you'd like to think.
It was called Cribs. The thing that
Cribs,
DK was
MTV
referencing was Cribs.
You think you know, but you don't know. It would be like you would follow two brothers that were doing heroin. You followed them through like a week of their life.
And they're in my attic. Exactly.
But Dan,
Dan gets it.
You're talking about personal relationships and things people keep hidden from other people. DK was referencing like a physical fucking space, like a car. Like,
come on. You don't know every inch of everything.
Now I'm going to say I know my house inside and out because I annoyed the fucking shit out of the housing inspector.
It's a weird layout over there, I hear.
But yeah, you can't get Plex going, but yeah.
All I'm saying is there's some angles up there. There's some angles.
You would have fucking loved the shit that we found in our attic, DK.
What was it?
We found it had to be from the 50s or 60s, like pairs of shoes, like girls and women's shoes.
Oh, I love those.
And an old, they're probably your size too.
Hell yeah. I only wear a 10.5 men's. I got a real arch. I got an arch like you wouldn't fucking believe, dude.
Quit measuring the foot all the way around the top. It's just heel to toe.
Showing that foot off. You better not be showing foots off on this podcast.
If I have to, I will.
Careful. Careful.
Didn't you find like a ventriloquist doll up there? That went missing a few days later?
No, I hid one up there.
Oh, Everybody should do that when you move out of your house. Hide a ventriloquist doll somewhere in the attic.
When we redid the bathroom, I was going to do a pentagram on the subfloor before I tiled.
I did do that at my old house.
Fuck yeah.
I legitimately did that.
Yeah.
We put new floor down. And yeah, well, I won't say what it was, but someone will find it eventually. And there will be questions.
It was probably the most Sam's dad was bothered by my behavior. Like things that I thought were funny. Like that thing where we were talking about it and I was joking about it and he just went blank and it was as though I evaporated because he just looked at his wife and was like, I would have never thought to put a fucking pentagram in my house. Like,
maybe he was just looking for permission to laugh.
He doesn't need it. He's a pretty easy laugher. Not at anything I say. Not at any of the fucking gold that I'm dropping at those family functions where I'm the fucking fifth wheel. Yeah.
That you think you're dropping.
But you have no idea. This is MTV Cribs.
Yeah, he may not appreciate it when I walk to their bedroom and I go, this is where the magic doesn't happen.
And you look right at him and point to his dick.
Yep. It's like prison rules, dude. You got to just take out the biggest dude. I remember the first time I paid for dinner. That guy looked right fucking through me. My chest.
Diary.
MTV Diary?
Cribs.
MTV Diary.
Who gives a fuck?
Dan, I think you know, but you have no idea. This is MTV Cribs.
All right, so Reggie is armed up. He's running around the farm. He's running from a sphere. What else would he be fucking running from? He heads into one of the barns. He locks the door, and inside he finds Demeter, who does not speak English, and Demeter will not shut the fuck up. He is holding an axe up to Reggie and just fucking screaming. Reggie is doing everything he can to kind of calm him down. Eventually, Reggie's upset by him. He's just like, now you fucking did it, because making all this noise has attracted the sphere. Now, outside, Dan referenced this before, poor horse gets brained and drained, man. And I think the way that they show it is cool, because we're just inside the barn. We're seeing the perspective through the, I'll say it, too big a crack. I get it. I get the set deck design of we need to be able to see through it, but those gaps were a little too unbelievable.
Well, Demeter just fills all those up at night to insulate the building.
With spackling. Yeah. It was like a Tim Burton level of ridiculous crack. But yeah, this poor horse gets it. Sphere busts inside. Demeter starts swinging at this thing. He does manage to make contact, but he knocks the sphere into a pole of the barn, and it immediately ricochets back right into his neck. Now,
funny.
I couldn't come up with the brain and drain equivalent of when it's in the throat or the neck. Throat and choke or something.
I think you just got there.
Can we workshop that? Okay.
Trachea and
trach break.
Trach break. Maybe.
Okay.
That might be it.
Cut back to Reggie.
Winter trach all.
Fuck, that's pretty good.
Winter trach ball.
That's not bad.
Sorry.
Cut back to Reggie sitting with Mike. Reggie starts asking Mike if he's seen any signs of the threat. And Mike says that Reggie has told him this story over and over for the past few weeks. And Mike, in trying to comfort Reggie, he starts going on about all this stuff that he's been reading or that he's aware of. He's like, hey, there's all these theories about parallel universe stuff. And then specifically, he talks about what they call the membrane theory, where you could have multiple worlds that were so close to each other. Where let's talk about what's a modern the spaghetti theory in Flash, right?
a reference everyone's going to know. Everyone saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Kron nodded so hard.
Yep.
I
31, 32.
He almost throwed and choked himself
Mm-hmm.
with his own mic.
Yeah, I know this spaghetti theory, dude.
He knows the Speed Force. He knows what's up.
Yeah, you run so fast that all the worlds blend together. How's that?
I thought it was you cracked the spaghetti and you get more because you cracked it.
Don't crack the spaghetti. It's gonna soften in 30 seconds.
It's so insulting, Dan, to all Italian people.
I'm just trying to stretch some dollars, man.
It's the same amount of spaghetti. If you don't break it or break it.
Your mom didn't know that.
My mom knew.
I don't think my mom ever cracked the spaghetti. I think my aunt, I know one time I was like, what the fuck? She cracked it and I was like.
Did she have a black eye the next time you went over there?
Fuck.
She did because I hit her.
What's with this tiny spaghetti?
Of all of the stupid stuff I've said on this show, I don't know if ever I've regretted it as it was coming out of my mouth. Like,
what did you say?
No, it's okay.
It was so long ago, Dan.
Yeah. He put me here. Wake up, man. Reggie's freaking the fuck out. And Mike finally just has to, like, all right, dude, I got to take you back. We cut back to Reggie running in the woods. He's all alone. He's hearing voices and noises. He takes
I can't believe, hold on. You didn't give like one of his coolest lines. You've missed 2 cool lines, and I'm here to stop this now.
This is subjective, sir. So please.
No. First of all, during the Demeter scene, he says, dude, bad news about your horse.
Yeah, that was
pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. Reggie sells
If
that.
I had taken notes, I would have written that down. I like that.
Reggie gets that. Reggie's good. And also,
hey,
he says, Mike.
Hey, you're not allowed to do that. You're allowed to say, hey. You can say, hey, also in that scene. That's the unspoken rule.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, this is to Kron. You can't say if I had taken notes, that's how I would have done it.
Yeah.
Did you take notes?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, shut the fuck up then.
Who, me, means no.
Did you watch this twice?
No. Yeah, he didn't.
What's the last movie you watched twice that wasn't your own fucking movie?
I don't watch my movies twice. What are you talking about?
And this is why we'll never have a Patreon, folks. Quality control is not there. All right, what's the second line, DK? Sorry.
Mike, you're not listening to me. Books, I don't need. A fucking 4-barrel shotgun is more like it. Come on. He doesn't need books. He needs a fucking 4-barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
The double-double.
Did we feel Reggie cussed more in this one?
Sure, and I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too.
Yep.
I thought it was fucking great.
Is this a good time for me to say that I think Reggie should get what Bruce Campbell gets? Why does he not?
I like
Truly.
Reggie. I like Reggie more than Ash.
I think Reggie is one of the coolest horror heroes.
Yeah.
Why does he not get what Ash gets? Truly, I don't understand it. All I can think of is the whole fight against the zombie cop is so badass. And the fucking shotgun in the car and the goddamn goo going in his mouth. And you guys, Reggie rules. The ice cream man himself. Why?
I was going to say, did Ash have a job? I guess he worked at the grocery store.
It was a department store. Shop Smart.
I think he was just out there more hyping up his own work for so many years.
Yeah, Ash. Well, depends on how you want to think about it, because he did go back in time. So that's a lot of years.
Oh, I just meant Bruce Campbell.
Oh, well, that's true.
Out hitting the circuits and writing books. And
yeah.
I think he built the audience somewhat.
And the benefit of a substantially larger franchise. So.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because Phantasm had more movies faster. I think if you look at the numbers.
Phantasm also references the director of
Yep.
Evil Dead.
Sam Raimi's ashes are visible.
Aren't they only up? Wasn't the last Evil Dead Part 5?
Oh, hold on. Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2013, and Evil Dead Rise is 5.
Yeah.
It just now got to 5. Phantasm did it in 2016.
And that was after a real long break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Evil Dead had the show, which I love, but it isn't the same.
And that game with the fucked up driving controls.
I love that game. I really do. I platinumed it. I did everything. I love it.
That's what he remembers.
I remember being called out on somebody else's podcast for driving into a ditch.
It never would have happened. What are you talking about? I didn't tweet about that.
Like my third time driving in the game. Wait, what the... Where am I going? Bones, just go. Just go. Just go. All right.
Do you know... I can tell you where we were going. Bronson Cave.
Jesus.
That's the name of it in the game. Bronson Cave. Look at the map.
Did you make it to Bronson Cave, Bones?
We made it.
I think we had to ditch the car.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that... It mirrors how I wrecked my four-wheeler when I was in high school. It was the same exact, like, over a hill, bam, didn't realize that thing was there.
Oh, like in the beginning of the film Pumpkinhead, when the guys go over the hill and then come down, and then that kid is there. Idiot.
Sadly, I'm unfamiliar with the reference. I know Pumpkinhead, but I don't know the movie.
He's just a kid in the road. He gets
Moron.
smoked big time.
Lance Henriksen's like, hey, I gotta go. You watch the store for a while, 8-year-old.
All right.
I'm glad Kron gets me.
Well, Reggie's creeping through the woods here. He's panicking. He's freaking out. And then he looks up.
From me about Pumpkinhead.
You don't like it?
It's probably on a
About to
list.
get a thumbs down.
Yeah,
He's winking.
Dan's got it after he gets a couple Ingmar Bergmans on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, sorry. More movies about mass shootings. Let's go.
I would imagine Pumpkinhead's probably like, he's got a guest lined up. He's got the 4K rip ready to go.
Dan's guest is just a guy with a jack-o'-lantern on his head.
It's Dan Winston. Stan Winston. Who's Dan Winston? Is this Dan Winston? Move on. I'm sorry. Let's go. Dan Winston.
Hey, how you doing? I do the
At first,
I do the body effects for CSI. Dan Winston.
How many
No relation. No
do
relation.
we have that have mass murder in them?
Oh,
Every fucking movie we've covered.
That's not true.
I don't think it's true.
Who's a Maniac Cop 2?
Yeah, but
Tons
it's
of
not,
people are
it's
murdered.
not every movie. We've probably done a movie without murder.
How many people were killed in Ricochet?
Not that many. That's probably like lower tier.
Okay, but how many people died in Spawn?
A lot. If you count all those hell spawns that they
The armies
destroyed
of
with
hell.
it. Yeah.
Has it been since Spawn since you've been on?
Well, like 1 or 2 people died in Rumblefish. Nobody died in The Swimmer.
Yeah. No, I guess no.
I mean, maybe the guy at the end died, but...
Wait, does someone die in Swallow?
I don't think so.
Well,
Oh my
I mean,
God,
it depends
you
on
guys.
when you when does
somebody-
life start?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, all right.
that's opening up a whole can of worms.
Depending on your politics. Sorry. All right, Reggie's in the woods.
He's in the woods, and what appears in the sky? It's a giant fucking Epcot, just floating there. And he looks behind him, and what the hell? It's a portal, the classic tuning fork style portal. And we cut back to the clinic with Mike. Reggie's lamenting aging and dying in a place like this. 4 barrels of fucking hell down their goddamn throats, he says. But Mike has disappeared. And cut back to Reggie standing in the woods. Then we cut back and we see Reggie standing up in the clinic grounds. He's walking around. There's nobody around. And he approaches a portal. So we're kind of intercutting here with him on the grounds of the clinic and that portal and that timeline, or that dream world with Reggie in the woods, and he approaches and he's tempted to touch it. He's tempted to walk through.
I have to point out, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They take the exact drone from Phantasm 1 when those forks, those dimensional forks are around. And it's a very specific drone. I believe it's an A note on your keyboards at home. And it is so effective and so simple. But it's so perfect and it's so unmistakably Phantasm for me. I can't tell you how simple and effective it is. And for me, that is a huge part of like this whole thing, why it works. Is this weird, surreal, it's just this drone. It's incredible. So I'm so glad they went back to that. They didn't forget to put that in there because that for me is huge.
Does horror in general have the highest reliance on music?
I don't know. I mean, you get some like goofy needle drop stuff in like comedies.
Yeah.
Or even if you look at something like Boogie Nights, I mean, that's full of like, you know, music that's trying to elicit some kind of time and place.
It's important in every genre, but for me, yeah, like horror music is the best. It's, I mean, but that's just a personal opinion. I would rather hear that than most anything else. Like I could listen to John Carpenter all day, every day. I want him to score my life.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I guess maybe the way I phrased it, it seems more ingrained and attached, if that makes sense. Like the Bond franchise, obviously there's like the Bond theme and there's a structure for what makes a Bond theme or whatever. But
sure,
it seems like Carpenter, for example, he's probably working on that stuff in line with it, and it's going to carry through. I get needle drops. I guess I was saying particularly score, Kron.
I don't know. I mean, if I think about like trying to separate the score from Thief, like some of that Tangerine Dream stuff, I mean, that's not horror, but I think that music's really effective for the movie that it's in.
Okay.
I agree with Kron.
I guess it's more just like how cool I think the artist is that's doing the music. More like that determines how effective it is in the movie.
Can it have the greatest buff to a horror movie? Like it could be a low budget movie, but if it's just got, man, these are awesome 3 chords, whatever, the sequence, it can bring it up to, it could punch way up above its level. Whereas like a fucking teen comedy, who gives a fuck what the score of that is?
Right. What's it going to be? Yeah, exactly. But something like I mentioned It Follows earlier, I think that movie works because of the score. Otherwise, it's just someone walking towards you. You know what I mean? It's the same as Halloween. It's a guy walking towards you or standing there.
Yeah. I think in that Carpenter book that I have, he talks about like the very first cut of Halloween that he showed people had no score on it. And people were like, this movie sucks, dude. Like
people hated it.
Yeah, like this is not going to do anything. And he was like, oh, I just have to go write like a really effective score. And he knocked out that fucking Halloween theme in like 2 hours, you know? So
I fully agree. The score is everything.
You know I'd like to see? I'd like to see Halloween recut with the Axel Foley theme. Somebody get on that.
Anytime you see Myers.
I was going to say recently, I think it's up for some Oscars, May, December, I think. Was that the movie with Natalie Portman and
Julianne Moore?
Heather Graham, Julianne Moore?
yeah, Julianne Moore.
The score, I think, bumps that up to a, like, it's a good movie, but I think it makes it a little better just with that craziness of it.
I think we're just talking about the power of a great score, just in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think regardless of genre.
I think maybe in my head and unable to get to it is a horror movie, despite its budgetary level, production value a good score almost brings it up to what we would consider maybe another mainstream movie.
Absolutely.
I don't think Dune is going to be any. No, that's not true. Like, I feel like a Hans Zimmer thing does kind of bump it. So maybe my argument's invalid, but it just
here's a
seems
good
to
example.
be more specific with horror.
The Strangers 2. Did anyone see Strangers 2?
No.
Well, that's kind of my point. I think that movie is really cool, and a huge part of it is it has such a cool ass score that really makes. I mean, it's just standard slasher stuff, but the score and the soundtrack are so fucking good for Strangers 2. I think it takes it from like maybe a 2.5 to like a 3.5.
Wow.
Maybe even a 4 for me personally. I think Strangers 2 is like a really good example of that.
Okay.
Kron, I will say Tangerine Dream did Sorcerer, and then they went to Risky Business. I watched Risky Business last week. That shit fucking rules. Dream scored it. I was like, that's fucking good.
They scored a bunch of stuff, man. And I think I'd say more hits than misses with those guys. So,
do you have a favorite, Kron?
I mean, it might be Thief just because I have like the record of it. So I've listened to Thief more probably than anything else. But I mean, the Sorcerer one is really high up there too.
Of course, I think Near Dark is one of my favorites.
Near Dark one's pretty good.
It's really fucking good. Yeah,
they did GTA 5, right?
The Batman. That score's fucking. I think bumps it up for me a lot.
Are we going to ignore that thumbs up that just happened?
Oh, you haven't seen this yet?
No. What the hell is this?
He's got the new one. So there's the fireworks.
What is this?
Yeah, it happens at least once an episode, and we have to force ourselves not to reference it.
Podcast listeners, you're missing out.
If you're a Get Played listener, a few weeks ago they were freaking out over Heather did that, and the other two were freaking the fuck out.
Okay, just real quick, I love Get Played. I'm a huge fan of Heather. I hope she's doing well. God damn it.
Same here. I think Heather
love
gets
you, Heather.
Inappropriate levels of hate.
Heather gets hate?
Yeah, and some of our some next door circles to us.
Those people are wrong,
yeah.
And I want to fight them. Heather is a true favorite of mine. Fuck everyone who says otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, a woman getting hate in the video game world?
Yeah, okay.
Shocker.
That's shocking, dude.
Never heard of that shit.
All right, we see Woods Reggie walk through the portal, and he's transported into a white plane of existence, and he's greeted by the tall man. Our paths cross again. Where is this, Reggie asks. Not where. When? Tall man goes on. About 1979. In Morningside Funeral Home, where events were set into motion. The tall man accuses Reggie of getting in his way for years, to which Reggie counters, well, how about how you fucking slaughtered my family, dude? Tall man says they didn't die, they come to me. Or they don't die, they come to me. Tall man offers Reggie to return his wife and daughter in exchange for staying out of his way. Reggie counters with saying, no, I also want Mike and Jody back. And Tall Man fucking denies this immediately. Reggie goes back through the portal. And guys, we back off into a pee break. All right, welcome back. Reggie had stepped through the portal after having challenged the offer made by the tall man. Now, when he comes back through, Reggie appears in what I'm going to call the green screen mausoleum. It doesn't look all that bad, but one or two of the shots, it's a little rough. It
doesn't look all that good to present a counter argument to your caveat there.
What I was going to ask you guys, is this supposed to be Morningside? I couldn't recall.
I don't think
the first movie enough. Okay. I was shocked. Go ahead.
I thought it was the one where he met up with Rocky, maybe?
Like 2 or 3 is what it more feels like.
Rocky would have been 3.
I think 3.
White,
Yeah.
I was
the pure white one is the first one.
Yeah.
Is it the one? Tall Man does say to him though, whenever he's talking to him, he says it's what you would call Morningside, which I thought was kind of weird. I'm like,
And maybe they want us to think that it is, but it doesn't have the same look as the Morningside from the first one.
And his persona in 4 was Jebediah Morningside, right? His original.
Mm-hmm.
It's his true human name, yes. Would you like some lemonade?
A creature roars by. Reggie pulls out his Uzi. He starts cautiously moving through the hallway. We hear a loud bang and he starts firing. The lavender lady, she appears. She starts floating down the hallway to him, her feet grinding on the floor, which I thought was pretty fucking cool, actually.
That's cool as hell.
Reggie starts to remember when he encountered her in Phantasm 1.
Encountered her.
Mm-hmm. He didn't bone her, right?
I don't think he's fucked any of them.
He definitely fucked Tall Man or a ball in 2. The chick was a ball. She pulls off her hair at the end and it's revealed.
Plus the boob balls.
And the boob balls in
He didn't do her.
You don't.
He fucked her with his
show
eyes.
That, Dan.
Too
You can't
gruesome
show
to
that
show.
in a movie,
Yeah.
dude.
But at the end of 1, he goes to assist the lavender lady outside of Morningside when the wind's all going nuts, and then she stabs him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we think he's dead.
Yep.
But then when 2, we think that none of that happened. So now he's getting this vision. It's Phantasm, folks. Just go with it.
Because she like pulls her hair off, yeah.
That's the 2. That's 2.
Yeah,
That's not lavender lady.
Yeah, but that's
What was her name? I can't. Jen or some shit.
that was the chick that was in all those booby movies. Artemis.
What'd they call her though?
Artemis.
World War. What is that movie? Hang on. Wild Wild West. Never mind. I'm sorry. Go on.
That's almost been a pick on this show. Like
Wild Wild West
twice from me.
I'll never forget that. That's his name in the movie because it's in the song.
Jim West?
Yeah, but then he says, "With Artemis."
What is Klein?
It? With Artemis from the start of this, Buffalo Soldier. Look, it's like I told you.
You know this whole song.
Any damsel that's in distress, be out of that dress once you meet Jim West.
It's a Wild Wild West.
When I roll into that.
Was that song bigger than the movie was?
Yes.
That movie's insane.
I think that movie is as big as it was because of that fucking song. That in Men in
Yeah,
Black.
Cisco's in it.
I think the song had like more legs than the movie. Like,
but it did not have more legs than this giant spider in that movie.
that's true.
Was Artemis
That's fucking good.
Klein's character or the who played the villain?
Kenneth Branagh.
It's Kenneth Branagh, yeah.
Salma Hayek's in that, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely in that.
Oh yeah, she's in it.
Yeah, she's in it.
In it to win it.
Reggie, still dealing with the lavender lady here. Let's get back to the story. She screams. Her face gets all fucked up. He instantly shoots, and man, she's bleeding yellow on that mausoleum floor. Reggie now finds that he's in front of a cave-like entrance. He reluctantly enters. He's on alert. Some lurkers
Sounds like
appear.
a Vampire Weekend song, bleeding yellow on that mausoleum floor. No Vampire Weekend fans?
I like Vampire Weekend.
I don't know him. I've heard of him, but I've never listened to him.
For
They
like
just put 2 new songs out there. Decent.
for like stuff that's on the radio, I think it's pretty damn good.
Some lurkers appear. They scare the shit out of Reggie. They're crawling on the walls. But it's nothing some bullets can't handle. The fucking roof of the cave just disappears. The tall man appears in front of Reggie. Tall man asks Reggie if he's reconsidered the offer. You know, the one that he just made 3 minutes ago. Go back to hell. Yours or mine. We're in it together. Reggie opens fire on the tall man, but it's useless. Tall man repeats the offer to be returned some zombie versions of to return zombie versions of Reggie's family, and he's like, "No, I want Jody and Mike." Why? Tall man is fucking confused. What is this? Reggie's like, "Loyalty, man." Tall man's like, "Dude, you just skin sacks of water and meat." And he cannot.
So you're telling me I'm going to have a choice to bring back anybody, and I'm like Bones and Kron, right? I didn't even thumbs up.
That was the Lord's way of saying yes. You bring Kron and Bones back.
Thumbs up seems to imply that you're telling the truth.
I don't think I'm anybody.
Wow, thanks a lot, Dan.
I'm just saying. I think Richard Nixon and Hunter S. Thompson, I'm pretty cool with this thing.
DK, I'm going to ask you a theoretical question here.
Sure.
Let's break the facade for a second. 3 of the dirty dudes at 5D Rentals, we're all married. Who do you think, in your listening experience, if our wives were to collectively actually listen to the show, which of us do you think would be divorced first?
It has to be Dan. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but it's Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know your wife, so I don't know. But to me, it feels like Dan.
DK, who do you think has been married the longest out of these 3 hosts of 5-Day Rentals?
Well, I'm going to guess you because you're asking me this question.
You are correct.
I'm good.
12 years strong.
DK's good with like context clues and shit.
And to add to the 12 years, I mean, they've been together for a long time.
400.
It's badass.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm every day. I'm like, is this? No? Oh, fuck.
I think if I could bring back 2, I'd probably pick Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth. Let him figure it out once and for all.
Talk it out.
Yeah. No, I want him to go at it.
I would give Lincoln a gun this time. I would make it fair.
Hell yeah.
Lincoln's revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's got to be a
Fuck yeah.
phantasm.
My neighbor is obsessed with Abraham Lincoln.
And you're obsessed with JFK,
yeah.
so it works out.
She's like, I'm going to dress up as him for Halloween. And like all year long, she would talk about this. And I'm
Please tell me you dressed up like John Wilkes Booth.
Well, that's what I was like. I'm going to dress up as John Wilkes Booth. And at some random point, I'm going to come up and just shoot you in the back of the head.
Just pull a gun.
Oh, that would be so awesome. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
What did he yell? Sic Semper Tyrannis? Is it?
Has anyone else been to that theater?
I've not been to the theater. I've seen the chair. And they tell you that it's not blood on the chair. It's the oil from their hair and the hats.
Sure,
but it certainly looks like fucking blood.
I went to that Springfield a million times and I've never been to any of it. My wife's dad is related to him, Abraham Lincoln, somehow. One of their family members is buried in the where he is.
Lincoln's tomb.
In the same grave.
The same fucking grave, dude. I don't know where I was going. I've been to that theater. It was like boring to me. I was like, I don't know. What a shitty place to die. And then the nerds are like, well, actually, he died across the street. I don't give a shit.
That's what I'd say.
Let's talk about Reggie Bannister.
Yeah.
Where's my free drink?
Why don't you and I go across the street, huh? Piece of shit. All right. The tall man says
that who you're going to bring back.
Me?
Yeah.
Who am I to play God?
But you have to.
No,
Come on.
I'm not. Who am I bringing back? I'm bringing back. Heath Ledger, so we can get a proper Dark Knight Rises.
Hell yes.
Makes sense.
And maybe Kurt Cobain, because Nirvana, that would mean that there would be no Foo Fighters. And
then you wouldn't have to deal with the Foo Fighters.
I don't know, dude.
I respect that.
He'd probably do it all over again if you brought him back. So,
DK?
Peter Steele from Typo Negative. Nice. I need one more record, dude. I gotta have. Come on. Typo is one of my favorite. Like, oh my, I can't get started on Typo. I love them very much. And then number 2, I had an answer and I forgot. What was it? Was it? I don't know. I literally had an answer 30 seconds ago, and I was like, "Oh, I'm ready for this." Now I don't remember. For sure, Peter Steele. Let's just say Peter Steele.
Did Typo Negative have like a album cover that was like a butthole?
His Peter Steele's asshole.
Yeah.
Just a close up, as close as you can get without your eyes getting wet.
Or your vagina.
Whatever you got.
I think I was reading about that the other day, and then I looked it up, and I was like, "Yeah, it's definitely an asshole."
I'm a huge fan. Oh, Danny Hicks from Evil Dead 2, because I ordered some things and then didn't get them because he passed away. And I want those. He was supposed to sign some things. He's in Darkman as well.
All right. The tall man says that he...
I was going to say, was there like an email that explained this?
Kinda.
Or did it just never show up?
It was actually really sad. No, he was very sick, and it's not even funny, really. But yeah, you could like sign up, and he would sign some stuff, and they would send it to you, and it was just like a autograph thing. But he didn't make it, so it was to support his medical bills. So I made a bad joke.
I think we all did there. I think
but also I love Danny Hicks.
Company.
In Darkman,
mine was not a joke.
You were thinking about America.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Tall man says he's done playing around with Reggie. He says, "You're not even real. You're my bad dream." Cut to Reggie strapped to a table in some morgue-looking location. And let's note here, he is back in his ice cream man getup. Someone or something comes creeping into the room. They hold a knife out, but they just cut the straps. Reggie is freed. He sits up and he finds himself greeted by Chunk and Dawn. Reggie's like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Nope, you got me confused. My name is Jane." And goddamn, I did not even make that connection, DK. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Jane gets on the radio and she tells someone that they have a survivor. And Reggie keeps going, "I wrote you a song, man." Chunk and Jane, they just watch as this guy air guitaring. Go ahead.
Did you notice the spheres in the baby incubator thing?
No, I did not.
It's in the background.
Okay.
It's like one of those little, like a glass. You put the baby in, and there's the big holes in the side, and whatever.
I think incubator is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like tall man balls in one of those. Like for some reason, they're incubating them. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool.
Yeah, they got forged a little too early. They're like,
that's it.
Okay.
Preemies.
All right. Chuck and Jane, they just watch as Reggie's like reenacting the song. Chuck keeps calling Reggie Baldy, so I think throughout my notes for the rest of the thing, I might actually refer to him as the same. And the three set off down a dark corridor. Chunk is telling Reggie that he too was once strapped to one of those machines, and the tall man uses those to pull out information from people. Reggie hears something in another room, and he wanders off from the other two. And while he's in there, he finds a toasted corpse and gets jumped by a lurker. I think he's like fighting with the thing, and it goes out into the hallway. And then we get to see how like this is the start of Chunk being a badass because he's got a killer precision shot on this lurker. The pair meet up with another group, and the leader of this group takes off his mask, and what the fuck? It is Mike. Is it really you? Mike tells Reggie that he's been on ice for a decade, ever since they blew up the tall man in the desert. Remember in Phantasm 4? Oblivion?
Mm-hmm.
Reggie
kind of expecting a scene where one of these people would say something like, "This is the guy we've been looking for this whole time." I feel like that would have tied it all together a little better.
Yeah. They did.
Like they've been searching for Reggie for so long.
At first I thought that, but then Jane's radio conversation makes it seem like they're just clearing this and they randomly come across him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the case, yeah. But I kind of agree with Kron. Like, it would have been cool if they were like, this guy? The guy you've been talking about for 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, like he's their John
like
Connor?
Like Mike would have been telling this whole story of like, me and this guy were fighting the tall man before all this shit happened.
He'd be legendary.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's an OG. Okay, I got you.
Did you guys not watch it with subtitles? Because Mike was like, "Oh, not this fucking guy again. God damn it."
Yeah. Pissed as hell. That it was Reggie.
It's like, fuck, dude. Just leave me the fuck alone, man.
Reggie thanks Mike for bringing him back home, and Mike tells him, "Hey, man, it's not really our home anymore. It's his." Mike opens the door, and we reveal the war-ravaged Earth, and unfortunately, this is where it's just a visual dump of
this shot is horrible.
Amazement.
It's really bad.
So we get this sort of pieced together wonder that comes through this door and down this street where it. When I say red, it's redder than what you imagine.
It looks like they forgot and left the previs in.
Yeah. We see big balls, people fighting in the streets. There's just constant fires. It's just fucking...
Yeah, it looks like it all takes place on the back of Lincoln's chair, you know?
Cut to Reggie back in the care hospital.
Kron, we are not doing Lincoln as much.
Oh, we're doing Lincoln, dude.
Damn it, dude. No.
We're doing it in the same category as JFK.
This week, I've literally come up with a 3-week episode for JFK, and then now you're already you're gunning for Lincoln? I should have said gunning.
Tack on 3 more episodes, dude.
He exits the room and he starts wandering. Kind of a cool scene here where an old man is crossing in the hallway, and he stops his walker and just creepily stares at Reggie, and then just continues on about his business.
Did you think that was a fake out? Is that supposed to be a fake out? Like, we're supposed to think that might be the tall man?
I think so, yeah. And then maybe it also then just reinforced that, oh, maybe this is real. Like that there is another patient, because we haven't seen anybody else there. So
I think that's like actually kind of a cool thing to put there.
Reggie gets startled by a nurse who comes up and is trying to get him to go back to his room. And then we cut back to Reggie in the hell world, and he's being choked by a graver. Mike comes in and saves him, and Chunk yells at Baldy again. Cut back to the care facility. Reggie back through the halls. He hears someone yell at him. Cut back to hell world. Mike's team has pulled Reggie out of the hall, and one of the soldiers that's also in Mike's team, he's kind of stuck. I say stuck out in the hallway, but he's like choosing to just hang out there as we hear something coming. And sure enough, I call this the Hellraiser ball. This ball is just covered in spikes, flies down the hall. It's not even a brain drain, just head explodes.
Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another cut back to Reggie's room. Reggie wakes up from the nightmare, and Mike comes to visit. Mike kind of sits down in a little bit of a panic. And as Reggie's starting to do his like exposition dump of what's going on, Mike's like, hey, dude, I had a dream last night, and it's your fucking dream. Mike says, it's basically the same story up till now.
He's like, Selma Hayek?
And now we cut into Mike's vision, where I'm guessing his continued journey after part 4. If you remember, he just wanders into the desert. So we see Mike wander into this old house. He's in front of an old bathroom mirror We see the gash on his forehead, the yellow blood coming through. He scrounges for some stitches. He starts stitching himself up. And in the dream, he says that he was longing to find Reggie. And eventually in this world, the real world, maybe, all hell starts to break loose. And then we get awesome, like fucking standard B footage that they fucking splice together of the planet in chaos. It's literal war. He says an alien virus was unleashed. People would get infected and then their heads would pop. And
DK
looks horrible.
Do you think there's some connection? Like, I mean, there's obviously some connection between Mike and the tall man, but since he has like yellow blood from 3 on, like, is he part of that world in some way that we don't understand?
Okay, I have a couple theories. Number one is probably the wildest, and is that Mike is somehow the actual tall man. And it's some looping thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think more realistically, I think more likely, and I think it's the reason why Tall Man wants Mike, particularly in like, I think it's like really more in like 3 and 4. He wants Mike. He doesn't want Mike to die. He has a purpose for Mike, and he sees something in Mike. And plus, remember, Mike has the gold ball in his skull. The thinking is that maybe Mike is whatever, or has the potential to be whatever it is the tall man is. He is some kind of other being, or has some potential to be that. The other thing is, there's this other theory, and it goes with, I saw this footage of an interview with Coscarelli and Scrim, which I talked about earlier, and I think I sent it to you, Bones.
I did. I watched it. Yeah.
And the thing I was hinting at that kind of, I don't know why I never thought of, but they said during this interview was that the tall man is death. And I never thought about it that way. I can't believe I never thought about it that way. But they say it in this interview in, what, like 1980 or something.
Yeah.
Tall man is death. He is death. He's the personification of death. So maybe it's, for lack of a better comparison, like Tim Allen's the Santa Claus, right? But for death. He wants someone to take over. He's got to find a successor, or things don't work right. And remember when Tall Man says, if you just let my plan work, everything will go back to normal. Everything will be fine. The plan is to make Mike into death. And then the world will go back to normal. And none of this fucked up shit's going to happen. And people will die as normal and everything will be fine. But people keep getting in the way. This is my patented theory. I didn't read this anywhere. This is just my weird, dumb idea. It's probably way off. But having seen the movies more than a few times, a bunch of times, this is my theory. So, you can find all the evidence you want if you're looking for it, obviously. But that is, again, that's just my weird little theory on that. So, I don't know if that helps.
I like it. I mean, it feels like from 3 on, they are implying that, I mean, just because he has yellow blood, he's clearly got a sphere in his head.
Yep.
Like, there is some deeper connection between the two. But I guess on my, first viewing of 3, 4, and 5, it's like they never really, they keep referencing it, but they never delve too far into it to really give you much,
They never give you an answer, and they probably never will. But, and I will say this, I think the Phantasm franchise as a whole really, truly benefits from multiple rewatchings. And the fact that they are kind of loose and interpretable means you can get something almost new every time. So I think that's the strength of Phantasm. I know some people see it, and I've seen so many reviews where, just guys going, it doesn't make sense because X, Y, Z, and like they think they've outsmarted it. It's not about that for me. So, and sure, you can go that way, and you can think that, and you can have those theories, and they're totally valid. They're just as valid as the bullshit that I'm saying. But for me, that is the true magic of Phantasm. That's the whole thing. So it really is however you want to see it. But if you're like me, that's why it works.
Dan?
I think after 3, I was in that mindset of, okay, maybe Mike is supposed to be maybe a good version of the tall man.
Sure.
And maybe it was supposed to be those two would collide. But so yeah, I could see DK's theory here. Yeah, I could.
Well, the other thing is there's a lot of constant Dune references, right? If
like,
you
like
are familiar
sandworms?
with. Yes. Well, there's no sandworms, but
There's
the
the,
first
like,
movie has a handful
hand in
of
the-
actual Dune references.
Like the hand in the box.
Hand in the box.
Yeah.
Also, I think Phantasm 4, the metal eyes, same as the blue eyes, that simplifies, it's the same as Muad'Dib, who when he finally becomes the leader of these Fremen, he has those blue eyes. His eyes change. It simplifies that he has gone through this change.
Dude, fucking
Same for Mike.
spoiler alerts, dude.
I'm so sorry that I'm spoiling this book from what year?
65 or something?
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, Dan. Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, I think that's also a great theory, is that Mike is the antithesis of the tall man. And maybe for whatever reason, the tall man knows that there needs to be this other version. That's why Mike cuts him down and he leaves them in 4. And that's why Tall Man stops Mike from committing suicide, because he knows that balance has to exist. These are just some of the many theories that I've thought of through the years.
I think the balance thing is more what I was kind of in line with, particularly in 2, which in hindsight, going back and you think like, okay, he's able to telepathically talk to the girl. They've got the balls in their head. I had wondered, well, if there weren't the balls there, would I think that because he's able to kind of go in and out of time, and we sort of get hints at Mike's clairvoyance, which is hinted at with which is revealed to be or maybe revealed to be the tall man's wife. Is it something of, oh, he's identified where this kid is going to start, and he is going to be this other force, whether it's a contradictory force or a balance force or whatever. So he puts roots there and is manipulating certain things.
This is 100%, this is the fun of Phantasm.
Yeah.
This is why it works. This is why it's cool.
I think
because there's a jillion right answers.
Yeah. It's just my innate problem of when you start thinking about like, okay, well, is moving the bodies through the portal to another world, is that inconsequential? Is that just business? Is that something to keep everything else afloat?
Yeah.
Is that Amazon so he can go into space? Like,
he's a regular Bezos.
Yeah. Okay. We're so close here.
Let's do it. I'm sorry about all that.
Oh, no, it was great. It was great.
I asked the question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've been curious about it since part 3. So it's just kind of like, let's try to figure out what it's all about.
Sure. And I think if you asked any other big fan, they would probably have 3 other really good theories. And again, I'm trying to sell this idea, like that's why Phantasm rules.
I hate to do this because I've already jokingly referenced BG3, but you could throw any, I'm just, for the sake of it, I'm going to throw out any video game RPG, right? Skyrim or whatever.
Sure.
Those Kron, you even referenced like it's a choose your own adventure type thing. Mm-hmm. There is so much in Phantasm that is connected just enough to make connective sense, but separated enough that if I started it at Phantasm 1 and made certain decisions that I thought, oh, this means this, and I jut off and I come back up, within the confines of those 5 stories and the information that they've given us, you could almost come up with infinite number of stories, right? Like, oh, he did die. He did do this. He did blah, blah, blah. It ends on a dream. It doesn't end in the real world. Like, this,
it's like a Telltale Games Phantasm.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
So I wonder if there's some freak out there that's, all right, taking all 10 hours of footage and cut it to, this is my 2-hour story.
Totally valid.
You know?
Yep.
This is fun, man.
Hell yes, it is.
This is fun. One thing here that I did like, so this stock footage that they're using for Mike's explanation of what happened in the real world, the footage of like the 4 cops pulling the guy, like arresting the guy, and then they superimpose like the CGI head explosion is kind of funny. That was CGI that I forgive. I wonder if that guy even knows, like, hey, your head explodes in a Phantasm movie.
That feels like real life footage.
Yeah, 100%.
That we probably shouldn't really be seeing. Like footage of a person's worst day of their life.
Fighting for democracy and shit. Yeah. All right, we cut back to the Hell World, and Mike continues the story. Reggie is totally lost trying to grasp all this. I'm fucking done, man. Reggie backs away from Mike and into the hall where the tall man and some gravers. Now, this is where we get to the point where this is all CG tall man, right? Like Angus ain't there on this day. Starts looking like a Slipknot video almost at this point when the gravers and the lurkers start coming towards Reggie. Mike steps out with an RPG. Chunk yells, "Fire in the motherfucking hole." They kill like 10 guys here. 10 gravers and lurkers. Back to the care facility. Mike comes to Reggie's room. We gotta go. Back to what I'm calling at this point Real Earth / Hell World. Mike orders Reggie to help him go after Jane and Chunk. Mike gives Reggie a mask. And he's like, shit, are we going where I think we're going? And they go through a portal. So they've gone from real world to now subsequent Hell World. And across this giant chasm, we see the tall man and DK. Give me your best boy.
Boy!
Beautiful.
It almost looks as good as the Spawn Hell. Almost.
I say it might look better.
Fuck.
No, it looks slightly better, but I just wanted to call back to Spawn because I had such a good time watching Spawn and talking about it with you guys.
I do when I pick up my boy from after work, I do come in the door.
Well, after he's done at his work that you make him go to, his job?
No, my job.
His job.
Dan's staying at home watching Risky Business.
And I say, boy. And
hell yes.
Nobody gets it, of course, but me.
He will one day.
It's either that or a Kratos reference.
Boy.
Telepathic.
Zeus! Sorry? Athena!
Ares. Telepathically, the tall man tells Mike that his use for him is over. The tall man starts showing Mike glimpses of the infinite worlds that he now owns. Reggie asks, well, if you're so fucking powerful, why ain't you killed us yet, man? The tall man's like, you were a subject to Mike, and to Reggie, you were amusement. Now, at this point, it's revealed that Chunk has infiltrated the lurkers. He's wearing a cloak and waiting for his moment. The tall man...
Isn't this where the golden ball comes out from that we referenced earlier that Bones didn't believe?
It might be. I genuinely could not tell that this thing was supposed to be gold. So is this the one that you're saying that the tall man sends to Mike and then Mike...
Yeah, it's like the one that he shoots across the valley at him.
So the Mike's chrome eyes return, and I guess this is him controlling it. Like, no, fuck that, go back.
Yep.
This pisses fucking tall man off, and he orders Jane to be killed. Sure enough, fucking murdered right there. Chunk gets pissed off, and he quickly takes out all of these lurkers, and he reveals that he's got a grenade vest. Hey guys, I got this. Mike pushes Reggie through the portal that they came through. Reggie lands in the yard of the care facility. Nurses and doctors, they're out front and they're like, what the fuck is he doing out here? And the doctor starts chewing these nurses' asses. They start playing like the blame game.
Yeah, the one nurse is like, she was supposed to be watching.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it. It was supposed to be her.
So Reggie just takes this
So
opportunity to just like start walking towards the street. Mike? And now the worlds are colliding. We see Soldier Mike and the world start to reveal itself. Mike tosses Reggie the double-double, and Reggie starts blasting the nurses that are actually Gravers. Mike and Reggie clean up the rest of the lurkers and Gravers that come in. Reggie asks for some shells, but Mike says, I only got one. And he immediately has to use this thing.
I think if you want to read the movie as like this is all Reggie's, like slipping deeper and deeper into, like a mental break, like this scene kind of would be the best example of that, because it's like you see the worlds collide and then they shoot Gravers, but it's like that's the nurses and the doctor. So it's kind of like if you take that whole part of the world out, it would seem like he's fully lost his mind. He has killed 3 innocent people and is now fully committed to his insanity,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think that scene is really cool. Like him suddenly just having the double-double.
Mm-hmm.
It's so badass. Oh man. I love that shit.
Was featured 2, 3, 4, and 5. They didn't have it in 1, right? I don't know.
No, he doesn't get it till 2.
1.
They make it in 2 during that scene when he just leaves wads of cash in the hardware store.
Like a good guy. It's one.
By the way,
one barrel for every movie.
I call it the double-double now because of Dan. I believe Dan was the one that coined that.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never not call it that for the rest of my life.
I'm going to pull a Kron and say it was also in my notes, but Dan was leading or reference it in that episode. Yeah. He said it, but I was in my notes. Like I did too. I can show. I'll screen share, show you my notes.
Well, and I just want to one more thing, just because we're talking about Dan. In the last episode, he was doing the clean comedy, the family comedy thing. I want to say on pod. I already said this in the Discord, but goddamn, that made me laugh really hard. Thank you, Dan.
I don't remember what I said.
You were doing like a Jim Gaffigan knockoff. It was great. It was really good. Thank you.
Well, thanks for listening, DK.
Dan, you should book some church shows coming up.
You could probably fool them.
Money these days. They love that church. I do love that money.
We could easily stitch together a promotional photo of you kind of doing that, making this face
with like a heavenly light behind him.
Yep.
Hands up.
He does exist.
Dude, that's good. That's good.
Doves flying.
What is he in a John Woo movie? I mean, come on.
Yes.
Get a puppet, Dan.
Kron, I got to do some yard digging here soon, and I am scared to death. I'm going to just find a puppet in my yard because I know you've fucking done something.
How about you do some basement digging like Kevin Bacon?
Stir of Echoes, bro.
And do some Stir of Echoes shit. When is that going to be on the show?
Season
One
12.
of the coolest jump scares of all time, and I stand by that.
Is it a puppet?
Not a puppet.
Have you never seen Stir of Echoes, Kron?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
There's a really fucking good jump scare in that movie.
I think Kron would dig Stir of Echoes, like legit.
I think so too.
It's
a cool little
movie, man.
Some random homophobia that I didn't expect last time I watched it, and I was like, whoa! Like I thought we were past that at this point, but no. Anyway, apart from that, great movie.
Got lost in the Sixth Sense.
Was it like right around the same release date.
I think so, around the same time. Seriously, though, one of the coolest jump scares. Man, it's so good.
I'll try to check it out.
Don't check it out.
I'll mail you the DVD if you want it.
Mike and Reggie, they're out of shells, and they pull out their knives. They're getting ready to go hand to hand on the remaining Gravers when suddenly the CUDA, baby, battle ready with Gatling guns and barbed wire shows up. And who's driving this motherfucking thing? I don't know. Fucking Jody? Reggie and Mike, they hop in. And
No.
If anyone should not be behind the wheel.
Thank you. Even if he is alive, based on the questions I've had in 1 through 4, let's not put this guy behind the wheel.
I'd open the door and I'd be like, get the fuck out, I'm driving.
You're sitting in the back, dude.
I don't know. That might imply that the car wreck wasn't that bad. So he's a good enough driver to keep it from being a really bad wreck.
It was bad enough that he died.
fucking
He still
died.
wrecked it. He still wrecked it either way.
Well, sometimes, even defensive driving, shit's going to happen. I think him pulling up in this implies that he's not dead. He's
He's got dementia.
He's trying to erase the stigma that he's a shitty driver.
He'd rather have fucking Jody and Mike back besides his to see his family again. Stop giving Reggie the benefit of the doubt here.
It's called loyalty, Bones. Learn about it.
Hey, man. I'm pro Jody coming back in the CUDA.
I'm pro Jody coming in the CUDA.
God's like,
Better than the graveyard.
See,
the tall man's like, Dan, you
tried.
sure you want Bones and Kron back? Like, you got a wife, 2 kids, and you're choosing Bones and Kron.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we're in hell. That's a lot of paperwork.
I think the interpretation is supposed to be this is really Reggie's final thoughts as he's fading away. And what better way to go out than getting ready to go on an adventure with your friends in the CUDA? That's it. Your friend who's been dead for years is there because that's what your mind's going to do. It does make sense to me that would be there.
It was
depending on how you're interpreting.
It was a shitty time that we hung out, but we were fucking hanging out, dudes. Like, yeah, I could see that.
No, yeah. I mean, you get to this point and you're like, well, I'm almost 40. I'm in a more comfortable spot than I've ever been in my entire life. But I would absolutely go back to being broke and hanging out with my buddies. And you don't appreciate that when you're in it, right?
100%.
Right? You get to a certain point and you're like, well, you know what? I'm responsible enough to know, like, hey, if I'm driving, I'm not going to drink, or I don't want to sleep on somebody's floor. I want to sleep in my bed. But the things I miss the most are just going over to somebody's house. You don't do that shit when you're 30 anymore. You don't just
this is too good. I was going to say this later, but this is too good of you've opened the door. The first time I ever watched this movie was with a friend. Bones, you've met that friend. His name is Mike.
Hey, Mike.
His mother made us a frozen pizza and forgot to take the cardboard out and served it to us. It was wild. But we watched Phantasm on VHS in his basement room. I don't know the year, but it's been a long, long time. 20 years ago, probably. Or more. And that's why that is truly the thing with Phantasm for me, is that it's like, it was me hanging out with a friend in a basement, eating pizza, just being bros, like watching this weird-ass movie. And we both loved it. The first thing you see in that movie pretty much is boobs.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, come on. We're on the hook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, truly, that is part of the power of Phantasm, is that I have such fondness for the memories that I have from when I first watched it with Mike and beyond, but, and it's funny that my friend's name is Mike, like in the movie. I don't know. For me, it's such a powerful, it's so weird to call it powerful, but this dumbass horror movie it does have so much power over me. It's just one of those things. So for me, that is the beginning, the very beginning of the long timeline of my romance with this franchise. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that in there. And shout outs to Clara. I love you. Thanks for the pizza. Man, such good times.
It is, but it's sweet. Whether it makes sense, the most important part is that this ending is sweet. Yep. It is the three of them getting... It's not even closure. It's just seeing them all together in a car, in the CUDA. It just warms your heart, right? It's like it's worth the wait. It's worth the CGI. It is what it is to try to bandage this whole thing up. This is what the fans want to see, right? Because that means a lot. I mean, this podcast is a digital, virtual way of trying to relive the times where we would go to a movie on Friday. We would, whatever cash we could scrounge up, and one of us would wait in line because it was before you ordered tickets ahead of time, and we would try to squeeze in to the shitty...
You hope you get a seat.
Yeah, in Central Missouri, a shitty 6-screen theater, and afterwards we would go stand in the McDonald's parking lot and eat off the value menu and smoke cigarettes, and we would try to think... We would be up our own asses trying to dissect fucking 300.
I have this exact fucking origin story.
Yeah.
Except I'm in Illinois. But literally, we would walk to the fucking McDonald's after we were done, and your girlfriend spills hot chocolate in your lap. Dude, it's the same for me. It's 100% exactly the same for me.
Yeah. So if the end of my life is I'm on some weird fucking dementia episode and Danny Duck fucking comes to my door and we get in his little Civic and we meet Dan and Kron and Steve-O and our fucking weird ass friends Boots and Danny's like all these guys are there, and I'm like, this is fucking weird. And me and Danny Duck are doing skate tricks. It's like an inside joke, and like before parkour was parkour, and you know, just who's got cigarettes? I'll fuck you about the last pack, you know, and go and thinking we're fucking cool because we know Ridley Scott movies, man. You know, you're 2 years away from getting into Kurosawa and you think you're hot shit, you know? Yeah. I don't give a fuck about my wife and kids at that point. Put me back in that fucking parking lot.
It's Phantasm, dude.
Phantasm.
I'm with you. My story is shockingly similar.
Jody asks where everyone is. Mike tells him, nobody else made it, man. It's just not getting any easier. Reggie is so fucking relieved to see Jody. Mike tells the other two that it's time to change tactics. That's it. We're fucking heading north. This bastard hates the cold. You know, it's a hell of a way to start a trio. We see Reggie just fall asleep, pass out in the back seat. And then
it's a good-looking scene, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I like that. They could have ended there, and I was like,
I kind of wish it would.
I agree. Yes.
That should be the last scene in the movie.
Yeah.
But alas, we continue. We cut to some sort of dream world where Reggie is on his deathbed. He's surrounded and comforted by Mike and Jody. And then we're back to the real world. Flashes of the dream within a dream. The trio from Phantasm 1 and on. Jody, all the other timelines of the world's dying. Credits. Directed by David Hartman. But wait. A random portal in the desert. Chunk dives through.
Well, let's not just completely skip over the Reggie rap song that occurs for a brief few moments.
Hell yeah.
I looked it up, like Phantasm rap.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dudes making some killer instrumental beats.
There's some cool synthwave Phantasm covers.
Yeah. If I would have had the time,
cool as ours.
If I would have had the time, we probably should have done a Phantasm rap. That's all I'm saying.
I would have done it. I would have done it 100%.
Should have gone like each verse, just like each movie. And the chorus, something like
took notes. We would have had it.
If you're trying to fuck, it's a tall man. if you're trying to nut, that's a tall man. You know, something just like a catchy little hook like that.
It's a girl, it's a man, it's a tall man.
Yeah. All right. Chunk dives through this portal, his hands all blown off, and he's greeted by somebody with a pistol and some goggles. It's motherfucking Rocky from Phantasm 3.
If you got her, why not put her in more of this movie?
Man.
That is 100% the answer. Why?
Like, you had an opportunity here.
She could have come in halfway through with Mike's crew to rescue Reggie. That would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what would have been cool? She's also strapped up with Reggie, and she's like a nurse at the care facility or something.
Mm-hmm.
And,
sure.
and she's like,
That would have been
she's
awesome.
like tweaked a little bit where you're like, is that Rocky? Is that somebody? You know? But it's so easy to sit here and say they should have done this. They could have done this. This thing is a fucking achievement that it got made. Phantasm fans are lucky that this thing is what it is. But anyway, Chunk says, hey, that's what's great about grenades, fucking cauterization, because he's not too worried about losing his hand here. Chunk asks for a ride on Rocky's back as they go to the rendezvous. Unfortunately, he breaks the streak of being a badass, and the little creep cops a feel. Rocky forces him to walk. They get to the rendezvous, and Jody, Mike, Reggie pull up. Reggie can't believe that he sees Rocky, and Chunk is upset that Reggie survived and is in the back seat. I think he tells him to scoot the fuck over. The CUDA pulls off. The end. Phantasm. You did it.
Not a dry eye in the house.
The Reggie rap continues. And the end credits that look like they belong on Spawn. Less a Phantasm movie. But it is what it is. Dan, hit me with some trivia, bro.
Upon further research, gentlemen, this was released October 7th of 2016. I do not have any budget for this. I tried to find some, but
Because there wasn't one.
Probably not a lot, I'd guess. Pretty low.
it was direct to video.
In the commentary, the director talks about having done some of the visual effects himself. So, just to give you an idea.
In like Final Cut or something.
It's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
No shit.
At the cinema that week, you could catch The Girl on the Train, The Birth of a Nation,
What?
and a 5DR original, The Greasy Strangler.
Wow.
All right, according to a book called Phantasm Exhumed, the filming for Phantasm Ravager first began in 2008, but it was decided that it should be a spin-off web series. And as they went with this, they decided, man, we should actually make like a full-length. It says limited theatrical release, but I guess at Fantastic Fest down in Austin, I think it did premiere on the big screen. So I guess they count that as a theatrical release.
All right, for as much as I ripped on the visuals of this movie, this is better than a web series, I would say. I mean, feels more like a movie than, something that's split into 11-minute increments.
Well, you got Coscarelli on your side, I guess. That's going to help.
The hospital bed scene alongside Reggie. This was the last scene that Angus filmed for his character, the tall man. He was shown this movie shortly before he died, so he did get to see it.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
The news of the web series did hit, and then nothing came about until March of 2014 when a trailer was released, and that's when everybody kind of found out that, oh shit, this is like actually happening. I think DK did hit on the blanket from the original. The Plymouth Barracuda featured in this film was not the same car from 4. Is this the convertible? I guess though they said was from the original, the hardtop. I guess.
It's a hardtop in the original because there is a special feature on the original that is like them rebuilding the original car, right? Or trying to restore the original.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was just the hardtop, I guess. That's what they mean.
It had to get progressively harder to find Cudas in decent shape.
Yeah.
Like each time they filmed one of these.
Well, the convertible is the one he has in 2 or 3, right? Because that's the one that Reggie himself is building. Because the first one who knows? Timeline. It's Phantasm. Timeline makes no sense.
Several ideas seen in this movie were recycled from previously unused scripts. This included the tall man unleashing a disease on the population and the main characters traveling to the tall man's home world as well.
Dan, I will point out, though, that that's hinted at in 4. When they go to downtown L.A.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they filmed it on like Thanksgiving. And Jody says, "We can't stay here. There's a risk of infection."
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It lines up exactly right. So somehow they did it.
I think that's really all I got, gentlemen, on that. Not a lot on this one, but yeah.
All right. Well,
we covered it.
Thank you, Dan. If you follow the box set, we are rating this thing. This thing does end up on the big list, but we do not play Rate My Letterboxd. DK, you being the Phantasm fanatic that you are, I am going to defer to you last, actually, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Because I'm going to actually, we're going to tie in and work in your whole ranking, if possible. So, Dirty Dudes, let's just rate this bad boy on its own. Kron, how about you start?
All right, before Kron does start, this is sitting at a 2.4 currently on Letterboxd.
Thank you.
All right, guys, Phantasm 5. This is, the big conclusion to this box set that we've been going through. I will say for me personally, the worst practical effects are often, to me, more charming than the best digital effects. So there is a huge hang up with this movie. And when I first started watching this, I kind of wanted to hate it for that aspect. I will say this is certainly the worst looking Phantasm movie, but I really don't hate what they do with the storyline in this movie. I don't think it's that bad. I think having the kind of like 3 diverging timelines, it makes sense with what we've seen for parts 1 through 4. Like, as a wrap up to this series, I really don't think they did that bad of a job. I don't know. I guess I still have quite a few questions, that I think are unanswered or left vague, probably purposefully by the creator of this series. But for a movie that they didn't know that they were ever going to make, like for this to be the finale, I think it's easily like extremely watchable to like, kind of say the least of it. So I think 2.4 is low. I'm going to be a 3.0 on this. It's probably my least favorite of the Phantasms, but it's like, I would say the next one for me is part 3 from this, like in terms of least favorites, but I really don't think it's that far off. It feels, for a movie that's that late after the previous one, it feels like it fits. So I think it's a good job. 3.0.
Thanks, Kron. LD.
Yeah, wrapping it up here. I'm glad that I got to really soak in the whole series. So, like I said, I'd seen one, and the rest were all new to me. With this one, I'm kind of gonna echo a lot what Kron says. I do like some of the choices that they made in here. I think the dementia thing was like, I think that was a good idea. I think it could go any other ways. I mean, DK has been explaining to us that you take Phantasm how you take it. That's just how it is. That's the fun of it. Can we not just put bad guys in gas masks anymore? People like this. Come on. We can think of something better. But besides that, I think you got like something cool with the world as being diseased and the fucking orbs have taken over and shit like that. That could be an easily cool, like, fucking battle movie. A fucking apocalyptic battle movie going on. But, like I said, this isn't terrible. I like Reggie's performance here. Yeah, it gets a little confusing there at the end with the jumps, but I'm a 3.0 as well on this. I didn't have a terrible time with it. I think I might like dislike 3 a little more than 5. So I don't know. We'll see in these final rankings, I guess. But yeah, 3.0 for me. Not terrible.
I think these guys were in an interesting position. You end on a pretty solid cliffhanger, and then you come back to the table of what could we potentially do. If you're going into this and you go, all right, this is it. This is going to be the finale. I think a lot of times people are going to say, like you said, Dan, we got to go big. There's got to be a big apocalyptic war. This has got to be the tall man invading and taking over and what's going on. But you also have to think realistic about what you're able to show and what you can produce. And then you also have to look at, well, that's not Phantasm. Phantasm is the perspective of these few characters against this giant story. And that's where the charm comes in. So I also really like the Reggie is in a fucking hospital and trying to figure out what's going on. And this mirrored of him being rescued from something in what might be the real world or the hell world. It's the inverse of what you would think you would need to do to cap off a substantial franchise. I think Reggie's performance is strong. I do feel like that maybe Mike is not necessarily comfortable. And I was thinking a lot of his performance in Phantasm 1, where he's a kid, and they always talk about kid actors have no reservation. You tell them to go all out, and they go all out. And it seems like 40 years later, adult Mike is a little bit more subdued and nervous. But them pivoting and putting Reggie, who is the more of the everyman, leading this thing, I think is the smarter move. Again, to echo Kron, sometimes when CG is so bad, it becomes charming. I don't think this is charming. I think it is legitimately not good, but I don't think it's detrimental. So starting at 3, thing fucking wavers, but it ends sweetly. We get to see our trio back together. It makes you feel good. 3.0. DK, please.
All right. Okay. This is the finale of a franchise that is so near and dear to me. And, you guys have touched on a lot of really good things. The CG is really tough to get past. And on my first watch, I felt the same way. I wanted to reject this movie completely because I hated the CG. And I was like, why? We did so well without it before. Why do we need all this now? but I understand the desire, and I don't know if it's a necessity, but to go huge for your finale. I understand why they would want to do that. And I think they somehow pull it off. It does work, but the CG is a huge hit. And I think that's probably what brings my score down to where it is. But if we're just looking at the story, I think it's as good as the best Phantasm stories. I really like the focus on Reggie. I don't think it's the obvious choice to make Reggie the main character, but I think it really, really works. And it's depending on how you look at this is just for fun anyway. It's just a bonus. As we said, I don't think the intention really was even ever to make this movie. It just kind of happened, it seems like. So the fact that we have anything at all, and it's watchable, and the fact that it even has moments of awesome, and it does have them. Some of the Reggie stuff is as good as any Reggie thing or any Phantasm thing in any of the movies. Some of it really, really, really works, and some of it really, really doesn't work. So, I do rank this as the lowest Phantasm movie. I do love it, and I still watch it, but I do put this at the bottom. But again, this is a beloved franchise for me, so the bottom is still going to be a pretty good score. I give this movie a 3.5.
Data Man.
All right, guys.
Stunned silence.
So as the list gets longer and longer, it gets harder to find the movie once I refresh the pivot table. Phantasm 5 would ultimately have a score from the four of us of 3.13. This would end up at number 67 on the big list. This would be right below Dark Angel / I Come in Peace, and right above Drive from 1997, not the Ryan Gosling one.
Kron, how difficult is it for you to tell us where the series ranks? Like what the order is? Are we in chronological order, release order?
No, I think for us, real quickly, 3.67. So this would definitely be the lowest. I think our ranking would be Phantasm, Phantasm 2, Phantasm 4, Phantasm 3, Phantasm 5.
Okay.
Because I think Dan and I bumped 4 a little bit, and then yeah.
Okay. What were we gonna say, DK?
Well, I was going to say that's for me. I definitely have a series ranking to give.
Okay.
For me, you guys are close, but not quite. So I go Phantasm 1 first and foremost. It's the best. It sets up everything you get. It's incredible film. We don't need to talk about it anymore. But Phantasm 1 is number 1, and then for me, Phantasm 4 is number 2. I think it just barely edges out Phantasm 2 because I like Phantasm 4's. We can't rely on the gore and the comedy and the big budget to do these crazy effects and stuff. We have to rely on Coscarelli and his interesting filmmaking because we have no money. And I think Phantasm 4 really benefits from that. All the stuff about Mike in the desert and all those portals, all that stuff, and the unused footage from the first one. It really, to me, feels like it was always the plan, even though we know it wasn't. But it really I think to me, it comes together in such an interesting way. And I will admit to you that the first time I watched through this series, I didn't feel that way. But because I have watched them all so many times now, this is just the way it has come out for me. And you know what? Maybe that changes in a year. But for right now, for me, it goes Phantasm 1, Phantasm 4, Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3, Phantasm 5. That's the ranking.
I'm recalling a few months ago on Nerds Geeks when you actually brought this up. I think you had just finished a rewatch, and you were almost like shocked. Like, I remember you saying like, "I'm bumping 4. I get it. It makes sense to me now." So
it took me a long time to get it. It took me a couple viewings.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was actually surprised. After I said that, I then watched the Joe Bob Briggs Phantasm marathon, and he agrees with me. I think he puts Phantasm 4 as number 2, which really surprised me.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's just my ranking. I know a lot of people like Phantasm 2 the most, and I respect that opinion. But for me, it's 1, 4, 2, 3, 5.
Okay. Dan, you want to take a crack at it?
I am a 1, 2, 4, 3, 5 guy.
Kron, you the same?
I think I would go 1, 2, 4, and I would probably go 3, 5. But to me, the separation between 3 and 5 is like so close that it's kind of a moot point. It's like you could easily swap them.
Okay.
What about you, Bones?
I think I'm in chronological order. And DK, I remember when you and I were talking after I finished 2, you were like, you were surprised that I didn't put 2 above 1 because it's more of like a Bones sort of straightforward.
For sure.
It's the most action-packed kind of like Phantasm for sure.
And I could never hold it against you if you like 2 more than 1, if that were the case.
But I can't help but appreciate where 2 on paper is like it's sort of set out to be better than 1, but 1 is like I give it that bonus that it shouldn't work and it does. I will watch 1 and 2 probably within the next year, and I'm excited to with stewing on these for a while, and then in a few years doing another watch of the whole series. I think would be interesting. So, okay, so nothing crazy. Nobody's coming in here saying like 3's number 1. It's not a Scream scenario.
Who would say that?
Best sequel, not best overall. All right, I think that's it, dudes. We did it. We got through another box set. It feels good. Let's go in this order of operation. DK, thank you so much for coming on and wasting 3 hours with us. It's not wasting. It's fun.
I look forward to this for so long.
This is what life should be, right?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for everything that you've done for the show, whether it's just general support and much less the music, man. It's incredible. Every time I'm editing this bad boy and I throw that track in there, I'm like, that's my fucking podcast music. It's incredible.
Oh man.
So best of luck with Home is Midnight. You gotta you put out something physical, I'll fucking buy it.
We have some big things coming this year. I cannot talk about it, but something's happening.
Something's happening.
Yep.
All right.
8-track tape.
All right. No after showers this episode because Dan, you have already revealed what the next category is and the next film. Can you remind everybody now?
The next category is going to be teen heartthrobs. Get a VPN if you want to do some further research on that. And the next movie is going to be The Fanatic from 2019, directed by Keep It Rollin', 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 Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit fame, starring John Travolta and our teen heartthrob, Devon Sawa. So join us for that next week.
All right. We'll be wishing we were back here talking Phantasm 5. I'm sure of it. Mm-hmm. As we talked about last week, there is no decided box set. We have not decided. We're going to push that because in the coming weeks, we've got something pretty big for us coming up. We will not reveal that quite yet. If you're in the Discord, you might get a hint of it. Who knows? I think it's pretty big. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Might be an absolute mess. But it is what it is. We are approaching the 3-year of the show. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank anybody that's listened. I know we've had some people new into the Discord, having found us because of Phantasm. We hope you check out the regular feed and you figure out our bullshit. There's lots of podcasts out there, so we appreciate anybody that gives us their 3 hours a week, because it's a hell of a lot more than 3 hours a week on our end. All right. But with that, I will kick it over to Dan, who will do his thing.
Hey, if any of you guys or gals are on Spotify or Apple, please rate, review the show, and subscribe. It helps us in our world domination goals. You can find us on Letterboxd. You can find us on Instagram and Threads as well. But if you really want to fuck with us, there is a link to our Discord every Wednesday, because those are when new episodes drop of 5 Day Rentals. Just click on that invite and you're in, and you can tell Kron that smoking cigarettes is super cool, and that
I already know that.
Give us your best jizz joke. We don't know. Join us. We'll wave to you. We'll say hi. We'll rank Michael Mann. It's fun. It's a good time. DK's in there. You talk to him.
I'll say hi.
DK, quick man ranking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. What do you want to know? I think Manhunter is my favorite, but that's just me.
Solid
I
choice.
think we were doing top threes. So if you got a top three real quick.
Manhunter, Heat. I don't know. The third. I like Thief a lot.
It's perfect number 3.
Yeah.
You just did it.
There we go.
Nobody's judging you here.
Okay. God damn, Dan.
But DK is in there. He's a great friend of the show. And yeah, thank you for coming on. We love you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Well,
And I guess there's nothing else to say, but brain and train that horse, man.
brain and drain.
Brain and drain.
Brain and drain. Boy.